secret is the GOAT, because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
The Home Depot has fast, free delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad do more this Father's Day, because Dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Power Dad's doing with Ryobi cordless outdoor power tools from the Home Depot, like the Ryobi 40-volt string trimmer kit for $159. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here. Beautiful day out of Montgomery, Alabama. But after all those reports last night, you got to wonder. We keep wondering. Are we about to be in the middle of World War III, or are we already in the middle of World War III? Why do I say that? Because it seems to me that the one spot on the map that could easily trigger World War III, but not in the most obvious of ways, like say the U.S. and China get into it over Taiwan, that could be serious. Say you have direct contact between the Russians and the Americans, and I'm not talking in some backwater in Syria where the Russians get in the way of some opportunity for United States forces to take out ISIS. I mean, direct contact, that's another obvious, say, tripwire right there. But what if the United States gets dragged into a larger war and conflict with Iran? This ain't Iraq. This ain't Afghanistan. This isn't Libya. This isn't Syria. A lot of reports last night, including the New York Times and others, saying that Israel is prepared to strike Iran. If they're on the cusp of a bomb like never before, even though, again, we've heard that, for 20 years? That Iran is on the cusp of having a bomb. And Israel feels emboldened because they've taken on Hamas. They've taken on and degraded not just Hamas, but also Hezbollah, the two proxy deterrents that Iran uses. The Houthis seemed a bit caged in, or at least a bit neutered and cowed into not attacking American vessels as much. The Israelis claim last year when they struck, if y'all can recall that, remember Iran sent a bunch of missiles and Israel struck back. Israel claims they destroyed a lot of air defenses there in Iran. And so before those air defenses are rebuilt, now is the time to strike before they get the full-on bomb. I'm wondering if this is just posturing, but it doesn't seem that way. Because in particular, the State Department, I believe, put out a warning telling Americans, in Iraq in particular, and all across the region, though, diplomatic families, soldiers, get out. Let's evacuate. Trump asked about it yesterday when he was at he went to go see Les Mis at the Kennedy Center. And J.D. Vance, by the way, had a moment he posted on X with his wife saying, so is this the play where it's like a barber kills people? She's like, no, it's Sweeney Todd, you dope. I'm like, that's a good vice president right there. That's a fun game for especially men with their wives to play. Just be very, very dumb on purpose. So what's that thing we're doing here? Oh, wait, Eddie Bader's here in the studio. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Life is good. Other than if this happens, so the way I think of it is not like, oh, Israel strikes and all of a sudden we're in World War III. That's not how any of this would ever happen. It's more like what happens next.
Yeah.
And does the United States get dragged into it? And if the United States gets dragged into it, if this becomes this long, protracted back and forth between Israel, the United States, the Gulf Arabs, say Saudi, Jordan, UAE, all these places Trump just visited. Do you think Russia and China sit back and just let Iran be destroyed?
China does not know.
Yeah, they rely very much on a lot of that oil.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Russians don't want this to happen. They were offering to the Iranians over the weekend, but we'll take the uranium. Like any uranium you need, we'll give it to you.
Would you let a fat person hold a cake for you? And if you ever need it, Joey, you call me. I'll have that cake.
No, but they've got, like, the Russians have plenty of cake.
Yeah, but they might not give it back to you.
Right.
That's the thing.
By the way, I just saw an old clip of the old Chappelle show where it's the black George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, they got yellow cake. You know what you can do with aluminum pipes?
I do now, thanks to George W. Bush. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And that's some of this reminds me of all that run up. And it was hard to see in the run up because thank God for X these days and for alternative media, because you have a lot of great voices who are pro-Trump, pro-MAGA that don't want this.
Right.
Whereas before, in the run-up to Iraq, Afghanistan, even Ron Paul voted for war in Afghanistan. Like, that wasn't that controversial. Like, we're all like, okay, I remember even like 12 years old, let's go kick some ass. Like, yeah, that was a kind of obvious thing.
Joey the Patriot.
No, I remember that vividly. They rolled in. These were the days where they had the TVs on the rollers.
Yeah.
They roll it in, let us watch. We're in what, 6th grade, 7th grade? And I remember my thought being, not that I'm personally scared. I got a little freaked out later seeing my mom and dad were reacting. But I remember sitting there in that classroom going, well, we're going to have to hurt those people. Like, it was a very just honest reaction of like, okay, you do that to us, we're going to destroy you.
Now that you've seen that, though, would you recommend that?
Recommend what?
That type of way of letting the kids know something happened major in the world. Bring it in. Because we did this. Ours was the space shuttle. When it blew up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the intent of that. I mean, we were going to celebrate, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered, I thought then, well, I think they might have learned a lesson. They'll never do this again. But,
But this is not the same thing as after 9/11, we go into Afghanistan. This is much more, to me, it feels much more like the run-up to the Iraq War.
Yeah. Well.
Where, trust us, they're doing this thing. We don't have very clear proof of it. In fact, Iran saying they're not actually building a bomb. And honestly, the status quo does have to end. This game of we're not building a bomb, but we're enriching uranium to where we could build a bomb if we so want it while we continue to develop our ballistic missile technology. That's not cool. This is an untenable status quo.
They're doing it. And I mean, that's just like you say, they're just teasing us. We're not touching you.
Right.
We're not touching you.
Right. But still, this is an untenable status quo. In the same way, NATO marching up to Russia's doorstep, as they said since 2007, please stop it.
Stop.
Let's come up with a new arrangement. Yep. And it's like, nope, we're just going to keep that dynamic going. And it's like, that's where I'm at. And I know Trump means it. I think Trump means both things he's saying. He wants peace. He doesn't want war. It would be a huge waste.
Right.
And Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He means both things. So we'll see what happens. It could be just a lot of posturing. See how people are setting themselves up.
Got some negotiations going on in the background, so it could be just big time posturing.
Now, it could be this one-time strike, and then there's a reaction. Iran posturing, saying they have hundreds of ballistic missiles aimed at Israel, ready to go. And it's like, well, last time you did this, aren't a lot of those shot down, guys?
Not only that, it was kind of an embarrassment. That was
right.
This is what you got.
But I just keep this in mind, and I've learned the hard way getting all excited about Russia-Ukraine, like the latest over these years. It's like, we don't know. Us sitting here in Montgomery, Alabama, most people, even folks with like access and training to open source material, like we don't fully know. Because you have to keep in mind a great deal of warfare is based on lying.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of that going on.
From both sides.
Yes.
Or more than two sides.
Are you ready for war with artificial intelligence manipulating everything you see and read? See what I mean?
Yeah, do you have much choice?
No.
I mean, honestly, right now, I'm still a fan of the AI. I see these great AI, like Sasquatch talking and stuff like that.
Well, and then I go back to, you remember that Oliver Stone sit down with Putin, like the long hours long? The craziest part of that is when Stone brings up, as a filmmaker, have you ever seen Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. And Putin's like, no. It's like, well, I happen to have it.
Let's go watch it.
Let's go watch it. And it cuts to the end with Slim Pickens on the frickin' bomb. Like, and Putin kind of looks over that classic like Russian smirk. Like, oh, it's a good movie. It's like a lot of the issues are still important today. Yeah. But then Putin brings up it's not just the nukes anymore. It's the cyber warfare. Where with nukes, we can tell who launched from where. With cyber, you can't really, you can mask it.
Big time. We've been doing that for years. Nothing new there.
So you got to wonder, like, will cooler heads prevail in this?
I always hope so, because in the past, for the most part, we have. And we have a president now who openly talks about peace. Yes.
Now it could be Israel does a strike, Iran responds, and then it goes quiet again.
Everybody's got to get a lick in.
But it's just, we keep playing with this fire. And what this will do politically is it will destroy a lot of the coalition of the MAGA movement. Mm-hmm. It will. You can just go on X, you can go look and be wise to social media. There are a lot of people who don't want this at all.
Right.
And then, of course, there are a lot of people, classic Republicans, that, yes, do want this. They've been wanting this for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever since Lindsey Graham was talking about it's not just about sex. It's been a thing.
Not a thing.
So we'll see. Now, did you see on lesser news that Rand Paul was disinvited from the White House picnic?
I felt bad.
Well, and then
because the whole bringing the family up, we do this every year, and now
But he's been reinvited by Trump himself.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was disinvited by Trump.
No, it wasn't Trump. Good. It was some staffer screwing around with Rand Paul, and Rand was claiming.
Oh, that makes me feel really good then.
Rand was claiming they're also paying influencers to go after him and stuff.
Yeah.
And these are White House staffers that are like really getting in the middle. So it seems like
got to reel that crap in.
Well, it seems like Trump stepped in and was like, hey.
I'm glad he did, because I really, the move seemed petty and not to be funny, but it was kind of Trump-like there.
And then, of course, recent press conference, we can go to a lot of that, where Trump went into, hold on, Erica. Trump went into the whole Elon Musk thing, called him a friend.
Yeah.
Saying even Elon was down with the EV mandate.
Yeah. And
as long as getting rid of it, as long as it applied to everybody.
Yeah. And Elon was all about maybe I went a little too far.
So much going on here. Anyway, let's go to the phone.
All right.
Let's see if this is our regular Thursday guest. Is this Erica Thomas?
This is Simpler Days.
Hey, Simpler Days.
Hold on, Simpler
Days. Hold on, brother.
Hello, is this Erica Thomas?
Oh, this is Paul P.
Okay,
hey, hold on, brother.
No Erica then. Okay.
I got tired of you and those locks.
I like my locks. Let's go back to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days, how you doing?
Hey, did you make the statement that I'm sure you were referring to? Politicians might lie.
Oh yeah, they might.
Well, let's keep it along the same line, and let's go local. And I couldn't call in yesterday when the mayor was on because I'd already called in and I wasn't aware he was going to be on, and I'll follow the rules.
Oh,
so,
I mean, that for future reference, you can call in if we got a guest.
Such a rule follower.
Well, super. I love stretching rules. And so he made his usual bloviating statements, beating his chest about the economy was so great. And he always singles out a certain year, the best economy the city has ever, including Bobby Bright, Emory Farmer, and all the mayors before, under his tutelage. But what he doesn't mention is that the federal government opened the piggy bank and sent billions of dollars to cities just like Montgomery that inflated their coffers, and they didn't have to spend money on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up crime stats, and you always inquire about this, Joey. But what he doesn't mention is that crime stats can be manipulated.
Oh, of course.
And as we know, sometimes crimes that should be charged as felonies are charged as misdemeanors. And sometimes reports that should have been written aren't written, and sometimes police don't get called because citizens have called them time and time again. They don't show up, or they get tired of waiting, so the crime does not get reported. And then he talked about health care, that we need to be like Birmingham. Well, so many of the nurses, 50% or more, are being brought in from other cities and other states to work in our hospitals. Doctors, anesthesiologists are having to be brought in from other cities and other states to work in our hospitals. And I'm sure he didn't touch on, when he was talking about all the great things going on in Montgomery, he didn't touch on the museum board, because we know that's a delicate subject. But one thing I'd like to recommend, Joey, if you get a chance, and maybe you could do it on a daily basis, just pull up WSFA's live cam of Whitewater and just see it every day, how many hundreds of thousands of people in the heat of the summer, when you think they would be out there, school's out, that it's a ghost town.
Well,
and you don't have to take his word for it. You don't have to take
I don't.
the good county commissioners. You can just watch it on live cam. And as we know, sometimes reality is painful. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Yeah, reaction from yesterday's show. Were you having a meeting out in the frickin' lobby?
Apparently.
You know, at this point, I'm so tired of this damn studio. Let's go to Erica Thomas. Hey, Erica. Sorry for the wait. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Sorry I hung up on you. I just, you kept talking about the World War III stuff, and I said, I don't think I fit into this conversation very well. My expertise is more about, spraying the state troopers with my jet ski to see if I can get them to pull me over in Orange Beach now that Tony Kennan put his foot down. And also been studying to get my PhD like Dr. Wadsworth.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Wadsworth. Now, she does have a PhD, but it isn't from the University of Alabama, right?
And it's honorary, so it's from the North Central Theological Seminary. Yeah, that's a whole interesting story there. I'm not really... I hadn't been doing that story. Caleb Taylor has been, with 1819 News, and April Marie Fogel kind of looked into it last night to see what it takes to get your PhD from there. And wow, I mean, it does ask if you have any, moral or criminal things that might be in your past. So that definitely takes me out of the race for it. But maybe one day they'll give you a forgiveness loan.
Well, and maybe all this doesn't matter because we are about to go into the middle of World War III, and all the other stuff will seem small potatoes. Yeah, let's just enjoy ourselves. Let it all hang out. Oh, man. And so one story I'm looking at, it's the latest story you did. Senator Britt saying not going to back off demands that the feds act to end Mobile Bay dredging delays. So I know there's more than just to this story than just Senator Britt's reaction. Why the delays? Are there not locals also worried about the dredging and the effects? And what do you think the senator's getting at here?
Yeah, so for over a year now, we've been hearing from Mobile Bay keepers and some of the local officials who are concerned about the amount of mud dumping going on right now in Mobile Bay due to that widening and deepening project going on at the port of Mobile. They're doing that so they can bring in larger ships, which means more money, it's better for the economy, not only for Alabama, but for the United States, because that means these larger ships can come in and bring in more goods. So it's a positive thing. A lot of people want to do that part of it. But how the Army Corps of Engineers is managing the mud dumping of all this. So whenever you dig a hole in the floor of the Gulf, you have to put all that sand and sludge somewhere. So what they're doing is for a lot of the initial part of the project, they used it for beneficial use, like they built an island, or they did restoration on the shoreline, which is very much needed, especially in Dawson Island. So they did a lot of that, but now they're having to do, for the next 20 years, they'll have to do what's called maintenance dredging. And that means, if you've ever been to the beach and you kind of dug a hole in the sand, as soon as the water goes over it, it fills back up again. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my way of explaining why you have to do maintenance dredging. So for 20 years, they'll have to do that to maintain that depth and width of the canal. So with that, they will have about 90 million cubic. Well, let me put it this way: it's enough sludge to cover every football field in the United States plus some.
Daggum, okay.
So that's the best way to put it. Nobody even understands when you say like this many yards or But when you say every single football field in the United States, that's a lot because, well, War Eagle. But we all love football, so that's the best way to put it. And so what they're trying to do is get the Army Corps of Engineers to stop just putting this sludge into the Mobile Bay. There's some video that we've shared that shows all of this sludge going just directly into the bay. And what that does is not only does it cause very murky waters, but it also impacts the marine life in the area. And if you impact the marine life, you're impacting the people that live here and the people that enjoy being here. People depend on that bay for their livelihood. So I've interviewed everyone from people that sell oysters to shrimpers and even shark hunters, that have been impacted by all of this. So it's just been an ongoing thing. But yesterday in Washington, Senator Katie Britt addressed the Chief of Engineering for the Army Corps of Engineers, and she said twice, like, I'm not going to let this go, And she said, you're going to have to figure out a way to make this project happen and at the same time make it beneficial and not harmful to the waters of coastal Alabama. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. The Lieutenant General Butch Graham, that is the head of the Army Corps of Engineers, he said, well, what we're doing down there is pretty good. We have an agreement in place. But then Britt just came back and she was like, okay, well, we need to work together. I'm absolutely not going to back off of this. So it's very interesting to see her actually get to the head of the Army Corps of Engineers, because our local officials have tried to talk to, the district heads of the Army Corps of Engineers, and it just seems like they're not really getting anywhere. So
yeah, she's saying, hey, speed it up. We understand all the different interest involved here. Let's pick a plan and go forward, it sounds like.
Yeah, and she said, like, not only do we not have a plan, but, like, it's the permitting process that you have to go through to get to actually put that plan into place. Or, she said there's a bunch of reviews that are just burdensome. A lot of things that red tape stuff that's just unnecessary, which is kind of normal with the federal government. So no one should be surprised there.
No, I'm not surprised at all. And I got to shift gears here real quick. I'm looking at the headline. Alabama Sheriff's Association hopes to stiffen penalties for fatal public murders following series of deadly shootings. I thought we just stiffened a bunch in the last legislative session.
Yeah, this is just a way to have a new capital murder charge, a specific capital murder charge. It would add it to the code. It would classify public shootings as capital murder, which there are ways that you can already charge anyone that shoots somebody in a public space with capital murder, but this would just be specific. We had the incident on June 1st at the Sanger Theater in Mobile, where someone was shot and killed during a children's dance recital, and I think this is their way of saying, hey, let's go ahead and put this into law, like, as a separate capital murder charge.
And following up on another story we've been talking about over the weeks, it looks like the Sand in My Boots / Hangout Fest is very popular. It looks like from surveys of folks in the area. And then on top of that, the Sand in My Boots Festival ranked the most expensive more expensive than Coachella, that people were taking out loans.
I know, like, you think Coachella, you think like celebrities, like major, celebrities go to that to enjoy themselves, not to perform. Stand in My Boots, you have a lot of celebrities, but they're on stage. Mm-hmm. So you would think Coachella definitely would be the more expensive. Even Stagecoach, definitely you would think that would be more expensive. But yes, Morgan Wallen's Stand in My Boots Festival this year, first time they ever had it. I mean, this was definitely the Hangout Festival 2.0. Same company that put on the Hangout Festival for the past 14 years. But Morgan Wallen, they came in and rebranded with Stand in My Boots this year. And people paid over and beyond to go to this festival what they pay for any other festival in the United States, according to this survey. So Hard Rock Bet did the survey. And we all knew that tickets were expensive. I did that story, like, if you want to go to Stand in My Boots, you're going to pay for it. But they're saying that people paid an average of $945 per day to go.
Damn.
To Stand in My Boots.
Come. That's a lot of money. And you better. I don't care about the folks who want a small, quiet little community. You better keep that festival going. That's a lot of money. Come.
Yeah.
All right.
$945. That's like tickets are included in that, and then they adjusted that on inflation and market trends, and then they averaged in the duration of the festival, so that's a 3-day festival. So that averages out to $78.75 per hour. People are spending to go to Stand in My Boots. So I guarantee you we're going to see that festival next year.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Erica. I'm sorry we got to you so late, and let's text. We'll get back on a more regular schedule here. But I appreciate you as always.
All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Again, that's Erica Thomas. She is editor-at-large there at 1819news.com, covering a lot of what's going on the coast. And, some of that, you like to do trips over to the coast occasionally, right?
Yeah, but when I started thinking about it, about $1,000 a day, I can see that. Well, for a family, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cost, like, to get a place to stay.
There's your money.
You're eating and you're drinking.
Yep. And even some of the places, they'll come with a kitchenette, so you might get to skip a meal or two, but you're eating out at least probably once a day.
And it ain't cheap.
No.
And then the tickets, of course.
Yeah.
But maybe I want a T-shirt from my favorite artist, and
$60.
Right, it adds up quick.
It does. That's why we go to Jamaica. But it's about the same price. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, about $1,000 a day.
See, this is why I hope we don't enter World War III, so we can care about the little problems going on.
Yeah.
So we can care about force levels at the police department of Montgomery, Alabama, and how much money is that cherry on top of everything going on at the Whitewater Park going to end up costing at the end of the day?
It's going to be a lot, but people in Montgomery, that's what they wanted. So, hey.
No, not everybody.
What?
No, and it's built now. So as I looked into it before I talked to Doug Singleton.
Let's go. Let's you and me go.
Sure, we can go. Let's go eat some food or something.
No, we're going down the slide.
There's no slide, Eddie.
I've been down the slide. You just got to stay in the boat. But if
there's
you fall out of the
slide. That's not a slide.
What do you call it, man?
That's like a rafting course.
It's a slide, dude. It's a piece of PVC, really wide with some fiberglass on it. It's wide enough for a boat to go down.
Yeah, a boat to go down.
An inflatable boat. But when you fall out of the boat, guess what? You're tubing, baby.
You're going to die and come back as a boat. You keep doing that.
I'm telling you.
You're not even going to come back as an animal, a conscious living
fall
thing.
Out all the time. It's part of learning how to survive, man. Fast water, rapid water conditions.
You're going to come back as a tugboat.
A tuggy?
Yeah. No, seriously. You're going to come back as a tuggy. You're going to be just like, choo, choo. Wait, that's trains.
I'm just saying. I think you want to go down there and eat because you're probably afraid if we go down the rapids, Maybe you are going to fall out of the boat.
I'm
Or
not worried
are you
about falling
afraid,
out of the
Joey?
boat.
You're going to like it. And go, hey, come on, we're doing this
probably
again next
fine.
weekend.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
All right, let's do that.
Oh, I've been kayaking before. I've
Not
done-
down this. This is different, man. This is only 2 of this in the whole U.S. and one of them's in your backyard.
Yeah.
You should at least take it.
Wait, when did you become a booster of the White Water Park?
When I want to knock you out of the boat, watch you go down
Yeah.
rapids as I film it.
So the thing is built, and as I was looking into it, it's like, okay, like, yeah, there's a lot of aspirations. You need at least like 60 to 100,000 people visiting this thing to really make it.
I wondered if they ever did.
And for instance, the
on that.
Olympic
Yeah.
trials got about 4,500 people here. Spent about $1.5 million. Not bad. But you're going to have to create more festivals, more events. It might very well be you could make Montgomery's Whitewater a stop along, like, say, a tourist trail. People are traveling to the southeast of the United States. They want to go on rapids. There are natural ones. There's also courses. Just make sure people are stopping by. But you got to wonder, how many folks are we talking about here at the end of the day?
You're right.
But maybe it doesn't matter.
It's already
maybe
here, though.
World War III is upon us and it doesn't matter.
Well, for all that matters, it could be an asteroid. They just haven't told us about it yet.
That could be going on too. Why were we saving all this money? Why were we being responsible?
Who's doing that?
Why were we even bickering about all this
Who's
stuff?
doing that?
Right.
I ate out last night. I didn't save no money.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to go over to the White Water Park and it's going to be like that scene in The Graduate.
I'm telling you, we should go. It is cool. It is. I'll be honest. Like, when I've gone, I think twice now, and we had a good time both times. But the fun part of it, and I think we even recorded it, was just literally like going through the rapids, and the guide was really good, really, really knowledgeable about what we were doing. It was fun. But I don't know how many people are going to do that every weekend. Now, if we release fish or snakes in there or something to make it more exciting.
That's a terrible idea.
Not really. I caught a snake yesterday.
Are you high?
No, not yet.
Yeah. Don't bogart it, all right? Hey, we got to hit another break here. Actually, it's our first break.
It is.
But first, our program brought to you by Dillon Rings. Over there, Dillon Rings, Josh and Leslie Wright are ready to help you because they are a full-service jewelry
Are
shop.
they still doing that Leslie is turning 50 sale?
Yeah.
Dude.
50% off on
Yeah.
half the store. Pretty incredible stuff.
I think so.
And today, if you go to Instagram, Dillon Rings on Instagram, you can see Leslie's inventory spotlight. She puts together an amazing inventory there. This is a 14-karat stunning ring, one of her favorites. Wow, that is beautiful. It has blue sapphires and diamonds and makes quite the statement. And it is part of Leslie's B-Day celebration sale. It's regularly $3,000 for this sapphire and diamond ring. You can get it for $1,500 all the way up to June the 28th. So 50% off, half the store, including like beautiful stuff like that. And very much, you could be price sensitive. You're like, I can't afford $3,000 ring, but I can make a $1,500 one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they've
That's a
got
great
item.
deal.
This is just one that we're spotlighting. So get by there. Get by Dillon Rings today. At least go look at this amazing inventory with this 50% off sale until June 28th. And be sure to wish Leslie an early happy birthday when you stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that is bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. you're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE. For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in our forecast for today. It's going to be another very warm and humid day with a high in the upper 80s to around 90 with a sun and cloud mix. There'll be a few spotty, random afternoon showers and storms, but most towns will stay dry. Low tonight around 70, but then over the weekend, the rain chances go up quite a bit. Tropical moisture invades the area, numerous showers and storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours, right on through Father's Day weekend for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Be flexible with your plans. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Too many things going on today. But, I'm having trouble caring about the little things and the local community things because it might be the world's about to end before too long. And
does that bother you in some kind of way?
No, not really.
I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like bring it on.
Hey, if somebody said there's an ask for you just kind of lean into it.
I look at the stream. You look so short.
I do.
You look like a midget.
Hey, man. I look like I drive one of those little smart cars.
And of course, we got Roxy the dog in the studio today. Hey, let's go to Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Thanks for being patient, man.
Joey, Eddie.
How you doing, Paul?
I like to fell asleep out here in the car. I done got stopped at the house. I'm sitting in a shade tree.
Ooh, shade tree.
Yeah. How much tonnage did she say was going to be dredged out of the bay?
She never could really give us a number, but I've seen a lot of reports on that. And what are they doing when they start maintaining it? That's the big thing to me. What are they going to do with all that dirt? Because they're going to end up covering up oyster beds and things like that. This is going to be an issue down the road.
Yeah.
And they're just kicking the can down the road. Is all they're doing.
It's going to be a big EPA and marine and wildlife problem too that they obviously are not looking at. But here's an idea. When I was OTR, I saw a lot of places where they were digging, mining and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
They just leave the holes open.
Yeah, kind of what I was thinking too was I know there's a million places, unless it's some kind of special dirt. I know there's a million places out there they could fill it up.
Yeah, just chip it rail in, and then dump it in them holes and fill it up.
Nothing else. We got a few potholes in the city that could use a little dirt.
Well, and apparently what Senator Britt is pushing in terms of legislation is that no less than 70% of dredge material is to be used for beneficial purposes. Here's a quote from her. She says, "It is imperative this dredge material could be used for habitat restoration, for beach nourishment, and for wetland creation, and I'm not going to move off that. So we have to make sure that we are good stewards of the natural resources that the good Lord has given us, and we can do both of these things at the same time." So I think a little frustration from the senator saying, guys, we know how to do this. Let's just do it already. Stop it with the review after
Yeah,
review.
no reason to
review.
reinvent the wheel on this.
Well, so think about all the different marshlands along the coastline that could be beach resort for the state if they would put sand there as well, the good sand instead of marsh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then there's places in Alabama that could be filled in that are being no longer mined, and then other places. Illinois has several just huge holes that you can see from the interstate, just huge holes. Okay. Now, I understand the state would have to pay for shipping that out, but she said 20 years maintenance. That's got to go somewhere.
It does, unless you're just going to go to the middle of the ocean every time and dump it out in the middle of the ocean, and that's going to cause issues. But they won't do that. They'll just go literally. From what I saw, the videos, they were taking it, making your channel deeper, but the rest of it's going more shallow. So they're just dispersing it, not taking it out, and that's going to kill oyster beds and everything else.
Well, think about this side of it. You digging a hole in a bay, enlarging a channel, allow larger vessels to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, where's the water going to go? The water line's going to drop, is it not? All right. When these larger vessels come in, now you're going to make huge wakes. I've seen wakes up on the bridge on 301 across Maryland Bay Bridge, higher than trucks. We're talking 13, 14-foot wakes.
Yep.
But let me get back to what I originally called about, but she brought up a lot of good points to that, and then my mind just went roaming that way. If it comes down to war with Iraq
or Iran,
and Iraq, Iran, whichever one of them it is,
right?
Because the Iraqis are going to have to Iran, but it's
so far away.
Our government is going to have to do no reporting on anything that they're going to do, because our reporters don't hesitate to broadcast it worldwide. They love to broadcast what somebody up in D.C. said.
You're right.
Why are you giving away what you're planning on doing?
And this is where this could be a feint to learn all sorts of useful information. Who knows?
True enough. Who's to say that they don't already have bombs? They just got a part over here and a part over there. So when they decide they're going to hit somebody, all they got to do is ship it in a commercial truck. Nobody knows what's in that commercial vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have commercial vehicles over there to move stuff around just like we do here. It ain't got to be military. You might have military personnel in it in civilian dress.
Well, and after this drone attack Ukraine pulled off against Russia, I mean...
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more...
And think about the pager attack the Israelis pulled off against Hezbollah. There's all sorts of new creative ways to attack people, so we'll see.
Yep.
Like I say on most stuff, most of us are just spectators on this stuff. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Got no choice. All we do is watch.
It ain't going to be no sit back when all that breaks loose. I promise you, they're going to start drafting people up to their 50s like they did in World War II. Because it's going to be all-out war.
Well,
check your history on that.
Oh, no, you're not wrong about that.
They were drafting people as old as in their 50s.
Well, I appreciate
Here I am. I can operate a commercial vehicle. Who's to say they won't start looking for older truck drivers and say, hey, we need you in transport.
You'll be in high demand, my friend.
Certainly true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Later, my boys.
See you, homie.
Appreciate it, Paul. 272-9228. Let's go to Jay. Hey, Jay.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, guys. Good show. I just pulled over and getting a bite to eat and turned you guys on, and I kind of picked up right about the time the young lady was finishing up her talk about Mobile Bay, and then you guys kind of jumped in about Whitewater.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to just talk about that for a minute. I actually, when it opened up, my family and I went for the first time, and it was so amazing. I literally right there on the spot bought season passes, and we've been a season pass holder ever since. I would encourage you guys and anybody in the audience to check it out. Not only are the Whitewater, the rapids, unbelievably amazing, and they have ED courses and more advanced courses. But now they've opened up the zip lining this year, which is
I forgot about the zip lining, Joey.
Yeah.
The zip lining is unbelievably awesome. And then they've got bike trails that go down by the river, and it's all basically like 40. I think it's like 49, basically $50 an adult for an all-day pass. And they got rock climbing walls, and I don't know. I hope Montgomeryans in this area, I hope we keep this. We were there when they had the Pan American kayak trials just a couple of months ago. They had people from countries all over the world that showed up. We were there for the Olympic trials last year. It's an awesome opportunity, but it's one of those things. I think Montgomeryans complain a lot about our city, but nobody wants to do anything about it. This is something you can do something about. Just go out there and enjoy it, have a great time. And I'm not getting paid for this advertisement, but I just wanted to let you guys know it is. I promise you, if you go, you will absolutely enjoy it so much. It's a great, great venue. I just wish there were more people that take advantage of it. But anyways, great show, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Good call. Appreciate you, Jay.
Told you, let's go.
Why is it that as soon as he brought up the zip line, I'd imagine you showing up wearing a midriff?
No, honestly, my thought was we'd dress up as a governor.
Oh, yeah?
And run the zip line.
Yeah, I mean.
I thought that would be.
Right.
That's what comes.
I'm more interested in like rock climbing than I am getting on water.
Why?
I don't know. If I had to choose, I'd probably do the rock wall before I did the rapids.
Okay.
I don't know.
Honestly, you might do both. You might do the whole rock wall thing, get so hot you need to cool off in the rapids.
Yeah, we could have a whole decathlon about it.
That's where I keep waiting for this to come in.
Yeah, but then you get to the spelling bee part.
I'm out.
You lose.
That's why I fake an injury and have to bring in
you don't even get a chance to spell a word. They just look at you and go, no, you're out. You're out, son. Go away.
I'm telling you, when we had the spelling bees in class, I got PTSD from that because I was the first guy that always had to sit down. But they made me join anyway. Just let me stay seated. Don't make me go through the humiliation.
And were you this short? Like I
felt like
it's like the camera's up under you too.
Hey, Joey.
Hello, sir. What are we talking about today, sir?
I knew I need a thing on my back here.
We got to hit this next break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello, this is Yasmin Hosted with Beauty and Beyond. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for 10 years plus. If you would like to increase your business, use Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations. They get results.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
At Guardian Credit Union, if it's important to you, it's important to us. We don't do banking differently. We do relationships differently. Want to secure a HELOC for home projects? So do we. Want to build your credit? So do we. Want to plan your next vacation? So do we. We're here to help with whatever's next, because whatever you want in life, so do we. Stop by any of our branches and let's plan your next step together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS 912757.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. If you're looking to buy or sell here in the River Region real estate market, they can help you out. But not only can they help folks buy or sell, they can also help you manage that rental property should you want to change that home into a rental investment. Great idea in this market, but it can be a pain in the butt to manage yourself. Why not, for a reasonable fee, have the Goodson Group do that for you? And the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state of Alabama because of Bo's 50 years of experience. Plus, he makes it a very interactive course. And so many folks have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School and gone on to great success, whether as private players, very knowledgeable private players, or as fully licensed real estate agents. So y'all check them out today. That's Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. You can always learn more at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson, the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. Sorry, we got a big old dog like walking under the desk here.
I thought she was still restrained.
Let's go to East of the Rockies. Hey, East.
Hey, very quickly, I know World War III is going to happen at some point, but dig this. If you guys go, number one, if you go to Whitewater, I want video, all right?
Okay.
Especially of you doing the rock wall or the zip line. But here's the other thing. I think we ought to have a get-together for the show there. And, I see T-shirts. We'll go over there. We'll get a little bit of tomato skin and just have a great time. I think the mayor would be down with that. Don't you?
Maybe we get him to join us on the boat.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah.
You got to, if you're really going to push something, you got to participate.
Mm-hmm. No, we'll get the mayor and Singleton on. Doug,
It could be a four-man
Steven,
team.
Doug. Hey, let's get Ed Grimes over
Heck
there.
yeah,
with
we
us,
need
too.
somebody to row to the boat.
All
Heck
right.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm so down. I'm so down.
No,
you're going to run to the boat.
I think it would be great. We need to do that.
I've got the
We
GoPros.
can make it a yearly event.
It would be honestly, it would be a lot of fun. It really, and honestly, the place is good. It is there, like you said. Let's take advantage of it. Let's use it.
Well, can we do like a beer fest out there?
They do sell the beers.
Yeah, but like a true beer fest, not like a brew fest where you're just sampling. It's it's a competition.
I've had those before, Joey.
I've had one before too.
They don't end well. They're fun.
I did it in high school.
I
It
was
was
going to say, we
great.
can get into a fist
Like 2
fight.
weeks ago.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I think they canceled the river raft race. I think.
Maybe I'll find love after getting in a fist fight.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
At the water park.
Yeah, but not with you as my
Cripple
rudder.
Creek, man.
I would steal
You
your
guys
ladies.
have a great day.
You too, Easy.
See, that would be a great, love story at the water park.
I don't know.
You
if
talked
that'd be
trash
how great
trash
that
about the water park,
would be. Then you find love.
and then they
down there.
build it, and you finally go and you find love, and you become like the biggest supporter of the water park
I don't know about that.
until she breaks your heart.
Right. No, I can't even look at the water rushing.
Right.
In my
Suddenly-
toilet, let alone in a rafting.
Suddenly, you're
like,
moving to
tour.
Arizona. You don't want to be around water anymore.
All right. Right. How about this? Let's hit the top of the hour break.
All right.
We have a guest joining us here in just a moment.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. According to a local hospital, a single passenger survived the fiery crash of an Air India passenger plane. The plane went down shortly after it took off from Ahmedabad for London, with more than 240 people on board. The airline has said there were no other survivors. The cause of the crash is under investigation. President Trump says an Israeli attack on Iran over Tehran's nuclear program is not imminent, but could very well happen. The president said he remains concerned a massive conflict could occur in the Middle East if Iran does not negotiate a deal, but that he continues to urge Tehran to make a deal. And the president has signed a measure blocking a California ban on new sales of gas cars. On Wall Street, stocks are higher, the Dow up 43 points, the Nasdaq adding 49. This is SRN News.
Charlie Kirk here. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? Mixed messages, fad diets, and quick fix solutions. Many people are left stuck and exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. If you feel this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and delaying action only makes it harder. I took a step 2 years ago and called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition and lost 40 pounds. I feel great and have kept it off. If you are ready to make a change for life, call 855-696-2020. That is 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy. Visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It works, everybody. Check it out at myphdweightloss.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in our forecast for today. It's going to be another very warm and humid day with a high in the upper 80s to around 90 with a sun and cloud mix. There'll be a few spotty, random afternoon showers and storms, but most towns will stay dry. Low tonight around 70, but then over the weekend, the rain chances go up quite a bit. Tropical moisture invades the area, numerous showers and storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours, right on through Father's Day weekend for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Be flexible with your plans. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Peaches and Clean, Powerful Carpet Cleaning. Do you have area rugs and oriental rugs that you have been delaying cleaning? Give us a call at Peaches and Clean. We offer free pickup and delivery in the Montgomery Tri-County area, or check us out at peachesandclean.com.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A federal judge has dismissed the lawsuit of former Montgomery Police Chief Ernest Finley against the city and Mayor Stephen Reed. The court ruled there was no evidence to support Finley's allegations of racial discrimination, retaliation, or conspiracy. Finley, who had been police chief since 2015, claimed Mayor Reed and others forced him to resign in 2021. Some workers in Montgomery will be losing their jobs at the end of the month. Oracle announced it will lay off 65 people effective June 30th. The layoffs are the result of local contracts for IT services expiring. The Texas-based software company recently notified the state of its non-renewal intentions. Wetumpka's River Jam Music Festival has been postponed. Organizers announced unforeseen circumstances have forced the event's postponement. No other reason was given. River Jam was set to kick off Saturday along the banks of the Coosa River. The Wetumpka City website promises new plans are in the works for later this year. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Well, for some reason, my music isn't working.
Hit the button.
I don't know. I hit the button. Like, okay, I guess like things aren't just going to work anymore. Okay, that's fine. Welcome back into the program, folks. Second hour here of the program. Eddie is still here along with Roxy.
Yes, she's doing very well.
But we also have a special guest here, a great local event coming up this weekend. We have Eric Jones. He's the chief of the Tallahassee Fire Department. How y'all doing today, Eric? How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us on.
And it's a big downtown music festival there in Tallahassee called Sounds and Sirens. Tell us about this.
Yes, sir. So a couple of years ago, well, I'd say 15 years ago, the Historical Society hosted a thing called Sweet Summer Nights, and it ran for roughly 16 years. Then we just come back, and last year, like I said, Tallahassee got a downtown revitalization thing for sidewalks, new asphalt. We finally got the hotel tore down and cleaned up. So the chamber wanted to partner with us to do it, and we're just trying to take it and run from there and use it as a fundraiser for both Tallahassee and Friendship fire departments.
Beautiful. So let's tell folks what can they expect. This is Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, folks.
Correct. Gates open at 5:30. Music will start roughly around 6:15. We have 3 different bands. Play Nice, the legendary Sweet Youngins. They've been playing for 59 years.
Wow.
And next year, if we do it again, he said they want to do it real big for their 60 years. So the bunch of those guys are local from Tallahassee, and we tried to partner with them last year. It was just the downtown project, and it ran out of time. They only play like 3 shows a year.
Oh wow!
So we got to get them on at the medium time because they got to get to bed and all that there.
But hold on, they're called the legendary Sweet Youngins.
They are legendary.
They are legendary,
right? To be in bed by 9.
Yeah. Yeah. We were joking around with their manager, and he said, "Well, we did the Sweet Summer Nights for 16 years, and we want to beat that." So he was messing with one of the guitars the other day. He said, "So that means we got to go 17 years." And then he was talking. He said, "Mr. Larry, that'll put you about 94, 95." So
instead of the Sweet Youngins, they'll be the sour adults.
That's exactly right.
Exactly
right.
Play Nice is going to open up at 6:30. Sweet Youngins will be at 7:45, and then you have the headliner Blaine Rudd.
Yep.
At 9:45. That should be good. And this gentleman here, Dr. Sam's going to be hosting it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good deal, Dr. Sam.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Eddie. Yeah, this is going to be a great show, and it looks like it's going to be. We may have some random showers early in the afternoon. Let's just hope it doesn't rain over there. It usually splits when it comes around us, but nevertheless. Yeah, the Sweet Youngins, 59 years with the original members, with the exception of Chris, the drummer that passed away a couple of years ago. I may get on the drums a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, maybe do some Inagata Davida or something like that.
And that's worth the price of admission right there.
In the Garden of Eden, baby. That's what they used to be called. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Where can they get tickets, sir?
So tickets we're selling them at the gate. $20 cash, PayPal, Venmo. We'll have a QR code. Get you right in. Chairs and coolers are welcome. Please just no glass bottles. That's the only thing we're asking.
And then there's going to be like food truck there and snow cones and
Correct.
all sorts of stuff.
We got Fountain City food trucks out of Prattville. They'll be on site. Louis snow cones and things like that. So
awesome.
I used to have this girlfriend. She'd always want a snow cone.
Mm-hmm.
She'd bite the bottom off of it and suck all the real good sweet
good stuff
juice.
out the bottom, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'll suck the bottom off off the snow cone.
Off the snow cone, yes.
That's all the flavors in.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. When you
now I'm stuck with ice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when you drizzle with the
colored
flavor,
ice,
it goes to
yeah.
the bottom, and there you go. Yeah, man, that's brings back good memories. So, folks, y'all get out there again. This is upcoming Saturday, downtown Tallahassee, and you can just go to the City of Tallahassee Fire Department and see a lot there on Facebook if you're the type that needs to read the thing to remember it and sign up. But get out there, folks. Open at 5:30.
That's right. Like I said, I've had a bunch of people call. It's the Sweet Youngins playing. I was like, yes, the Sweet Youngins are playing. And my mom even told me yesterday. Someone she saw on Facebook. There's someone coming all the way from Albertville to listen to it.
Oh wow!
So,
awesome.
I don't know. It is what it is. So, but more the merrier. We're looking for a good time.
Yeah, legendary isn't just a name that's stuck on there. They've earned that legendary.
59
status.
years. You've done something right.
Well, are we missing anything, gentlemen, before I let you go?
I think that's everything. Like I said, you can go to the Facebook page, City of Tallahassee Fire Department. It's all the details there. There's a flyer up. But like I said, other than that, like I said, show up, bring your chairs and coolers, and have a good time.
Well, I appreciate it, Eric. I appreciate Dr. Sam, and y'all stay tuned.
Thank you, Joey.
Y'all show up on Saturday.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Recently, I met with 3 different owners of homes who had the same problem. They wanted to sell their house quick and sell it as is for cash. All three people were approached by different investors that said they had cash for their home, signed contracts, only to find out they were not personally going to buy their homes, but to find a buyer willing to pay more than they offered and pocket the difference. It's called wholesaling. Offer a contract to buy a house at a certain price, up to price to other buyers, and pocket the difference. I urge you, don't fall for it. You want to sell your home quick, use a licensed professional realtor, as I have been for 48 years, keeping promises to get homes sold quick. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
Put the power of Action 8 News in the palm of your hand. Download the free Action 8 News app to stay on top of breaking news wherever you are. Search for WAKA News in your app store to download the Action 8 News app today. Keep your family safe by watching Action 8 News. Look for 8 on your side consumer alerts with product recalls involving cars, food, children's toys, and other items in your home. 8 on your side, keeping you safe only on Action 8 News.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Well, I guess our music is all kaput for some reason. It's just not going to work anymore.
Did Roxy come over and pee on it or something?
No, it's just like none of these are working that I normally play off here.
Oh.
I don't know why that is. That's unfortunate.
Very.
Well, welcome back into the program, folks. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader's the one wearing the Bush Light.
Yeah, you like this?
Yeah, I do, actually. That's classy.
I thought so.
What kind of shirt is that? Fishing shirt?
Yeah, it's one of Fishing Magellan, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, I like that look on you, man. I like that look a lot.
I do too. It's very comfortable.
So, as we mentioned earlier, somebody at the White House is being very, very petty.
Yes, Joey.
Because they do this annual thing where it is a like a picnic.
Yeah.
Like the White House picnic.
It's Employee Appreciation Day. Call it for what it is.
And Rand Paul says, I'm the only senator out of 100 who's been disinvited to this thing. In fact, I think I'm the first senator in the whole history of these things at the White House that's ever been disinvited.
Not only that, disinvited at the last minute.
Right, because it's not supposed to be some like big political policy thing.
I didn't think so.
It's like for families of all these
Family
people.
Day.
Yes.
We have it Hyundai. Yeah.
And so here's where it all began. Rand walking out of the Senate office buildings and talking to the press about this.
Comes up. My son and daughter-in-law and grandson are coming up because we were going to the White House picnic, but I've just been told that I've been uninvited from the picnic. I think I'm the first senator in the history of the United States to be uninvited to the White House picnic. The White House is owned by the taxpayers. We all are members of it. Every Democrat will be invited. Every Republican will be invited, but I will be the only one disallowed to come on the grounds of the White House. I just find this incredibly petty. I mean, I have been, I think, nothing but polite to the president. I have been a intellectual opponent, a public policy opponent, and he's chosen now to uninvite me from the picnic and to say my grandson can't come to the picnic. I just the level of immaturity is beyond words. I've been here long enough that if anybody has ever followed me, I've been a critic of Obama. I've been a critic of Biden. I've been a critic of the previous Trump, but always in I think, a reasonable fashion along policy. And so they've decided they want to declare war on my family and exclude us from the White House. And I just think it's incredibly petty. And I hope someone will ask them some questions about how they've decided to sink to this step.
Well, apparently it wasn't Trump himself, because this morning,
I hate it because that's what I thought first thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, and I hate doing that, but that was my rush to judgment. I thought, man.
But this morning, Trump put this out on Truth, saying, of course, Senator Rand Paul and his beautiful wife and family are invited to the big White House party tonight. Bigs in all caps.
Good.
He's the toughest vote in the history of the U.S. Senate, but why wouldn't he be? Besides, it gives me more time to get his vote on the great, big, beautiful bill, one of the greatest and most important pieces of legislation ever put before our senators and congressmen and women. It will help make America great again. I look forward to seeing Rand. The party will be great. So you got to wonder who was the one that disinvited him, like the bad blood going on there at the staffer level,
and
for Trump to have to step in.
Right. But also who thought they were blazing and bold enough that I'm going to do this. I wonder if they still work there.
Oh, probably. For the time being.
Are they stuck to just fetching diet sodas now?
No, it might be pretty high up. For instance, Stephen Miller's been dropping bombs.
Oh?
On Rand Paul and libertarians like crazy, and Miller's the top advisor over there. So who knows? Maybe it was somebody in that office. It's hard to tell. Could have been the chief of staff, Susie Wiles, which is tired of it. I doubt that was Susie Wiles. But Trump also seems to be making nice. This was a big press conference earlier today where Trump signed a law that essentially supersedes the California EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate.
Good.
And Trump is asked about this in the context of the fallout with Elon Musk, which continues to seem to be settling down.
You know how that goes.
Yeah, Elon admitting I was wrong. I said too much. I was too harsh on some of the things I said.
But did he say anything that we didn't know already?
I think the Epstein thing was a little over the top the way he said it.
Over the way he said it, but we knew that. I mean, it already came out that because he had cleared it by saying, I bought the guy's plane.
So here's Trump today being asked about this.
And abolished the EV mandate at the federal level. We abolished it, which is basically that everybody will be driving an electric car within a very short period of time. Now we know why Elon doesn't like me so much, which he does, actually. He does. And he never had a problem. You know, it's very interesting. This is not something new. This has been there from day one, Speaker, right? We're going to abolish the EV mandate. And Elon still endorsed me because, honestly, he never, ever spoke to me about that. And I used to say, I'm amazed that he's endorsing me because that can't be good for him. I'm abolishing the EV mandate. And I once asked him about it. You never talked to me about that. He said, well, as long as it's happening to everybody, I'll be able to compete. It's a very interesting answer. I thought it was a very honest answer, to be honest with you. And I talked about it, that incredible, you know, you would have thought he would have been from day one, you got to make sure you don't do the EV mandate, the abolishing, and never did. Very honest in that sense. And he did say to me, I actually asked him because it was like really strange how I'm with him. He's very, friend of mine, and he makes electric cars. And we're saying you're not going to be able to make electric cars, or you're not going to be forced to make all of those cars. You can make them, but it'll be by the market, judged by the market. And that's what he said. He said, as long as I'm on the same plane as everybody else, we're going to do good. We make a better product.
Isn't that a refreshing thing?
Yeah, but again, Elon's never been one to say he thinks the world should buy all electric vehicles. He's one of the first ones that said the grid can't handle it.
For the time being, right.
Yeah, and well, what's happening with the grid? It's only getting under more strain. So
now he is very much still in the camp, and there are a lot of people in this camp, and say from the tech world, who have jumped on the Trump train, who say stop poo-pooing solar. Like they keep going. If you want to build capacity, like this is like it's there, and also solar panel technology has gotten a lot better, to where it's cheaper to produce these things. They're more efficient.
They're more efficient,
and
but
so they're more.
downsides.
Well, but they're more efficient to the sense of they can work just as effective in an area that's not quite as sunny. And then the next step is, where's your battery technology?
Right.
So you need to be able to store this power up as you're gaining it all. And so they're like, stop poo-pooing this. But I think Elon drives a good point, and I wish more people in business were like this, where it's like, I don't want a special privilege.
He didn't want anybody else to have it either.
Right. Just
What's
set
wrong with
the
that?
clear rules of the road and let people compete. Gummit. And he's also the type, what? He doesn't put patents on stuff.
Nope.
He's like, because by the time somebody copies us, it's like we're already moving on to the next
By then, we've
iteration.
made all the money we're going to make off that.
Right. And we're already moving on to the next thing. If somebody wants to copy the thing we once did and make
they'll
money
make it
off of
better.
themselves, go for it. Knock yourself out. So I think this is all, it's all moving in the right direction after that big blow up. Now, this broke this morning. Reading from NBC News. Harvey Weinstein. The Harvey Weinstein trial ends in mistrial on final rape charge after jury foreman refuses to deliberate. What?
How is
Jurors reached a partial verdict Wednesday, finding Weinstein guilty of sexually assaulting one woman and not guilty of assaulting another. The retrial of Harvey Weinstein ended abruptly today, Thursday, when the jury foreman refused to join the deliberations on the remaining charge against the disgraced movie mogul. New York State Judge Curtis Farber declared a mistrial, and prosecutors vowed to try Weinstein again. On the charge the jury had been deadlocked on, the third-degree charge that accused Weinstein of sexually assaulting former actor Jessica Mann. The dramatic ending came a day after the jury announced it had unanimously found Weinstein guilty of sexually assaulting one woman and not guilty of assaulting another one more than a decade ago. The verdicts on the other two counts stand. So I guess he's going to be back in court all over again.
He's going to spend more of his money. But I don't. It just seems strange to me. I'm not familiar enough with the court to know how that works. But
yeah,
it just seems odd, Joey.
Yeah, it seems a little over the top.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna. I have no truck for Weinstein. I'm not gonna try to defend and rehabilitate that guy. But you have to wonder. Him and Cosby, right, are like the two big ones out of the Me Too movement. And there are some others you think of, like Charlie Rose is gone and forgotten, right?
That, and there was that guy from the '70s show. There was a few of them that.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
And there was a few of them, but there's a few that just kind of went away.
Well, and then one that came out of it that you wouldn't have, like, you kind of went, oh, is Kevin Spacey.
And he's trying to make a comeback.
But he's kind of getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there because the world's giving him grace that I don't think he deserves.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stories more than just the accusations about Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
A lot of stories. But I did appreciate that Tim Dillon brought back Frank Underwood to promote his Netflix stand-up special. That was freaking hilarious. Like, how dare you? No, but that's Tim Dillon. He's transgressive on purpose. So, yeah, you think back to that whole era and you're like, man, there were a lot of people who probably had it coming, like Weinstein. But then there are a lot of folks who are like that. I think they just get caught up in a thing.
I think a lot of people did get caught up.
Well, and also, you look back, I was watching an interesting thing with Bishop Robert Barron being asked about, like, the church sex abuse scandals and stuff. And he said, if you look at it, it's not just the Catholic Church, it's a lot of other institutions. A lot of this comes out of the whole so-called sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. This is where you see a lot of these instances of abuse come up and all sorts of other weird stuff. Well, and even within the Catholic Church, you see it sort of like you don't see as many instances after a while. But that generation that sort of comes of age in the 70s, and you think about Weinstein and folks who are, they're bigwigs in the 90s, but they're come of age during the sexual revolution. And I think there was a lot of stuff that came out of that so-called revolution that a lot of people look back on and go, we maybe went too far with that.
Agreed, but something I've learned, and I kind of wish I didn't, but the whole pedophilia thing, it is everywhere. It's in every country that, I mean, just the disgusting levels of it, I still get amazed by it. That in the world that we live in today, that for so many, that's accepted, that's just the way, though. Even I've heard some even call it their culture, and it's not.
Oh, no, and you got to think about it. It's the places where you want to trust everybody the most. Yep. It's schools, it's churches.
Exactly.
It's a lot. And I mean, examples like how is Subway still in business? Your main spokesman was one of the biggest perverts on earth, and yet everybody still goes, hey, I need a meatball sub.
Well, unfortunately, it goes back to the American people of.
But it's not good.
It's not. Well, I agree. It's not. But I don't know. I see that on such a global level, wherever we go. It's now that my eyes have been open to it, I see it everywhere. And I just, as a society, we turn a blind eye to it. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. And like, I think people are so disgusted that sometimes they make the mistake of like, it's all kind of the same. I'm like, no. Right. Like Harvey Weinstein doing this whole casting couch thing, pretty depraved, but not as depraved as the abuse of children by any means. I think that's the one that rightfully, especially now I'm a new uncle. I've talked to my brother about this, him being a new father. He's like, no, I will kill a person. And like, rightfully so. And how did it fester for so long? And I think some of this is people just kind of let their hair hang down and like, it's a new age and freedom and all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, freedom's one thing.
Yeah.
For consenting adults. And even that is icky. And like, are you really doing something good for yourself? But again, that's your choice as a free adult. But, right. Yeah. So we're still dealing with this is what I'm amazed. I was a little shocked to see Harvey Weinstein's name in the headlines today.
I was shocked at what you just read. I assumed that was hey, he's going to jail even longer at this point.
No, we got to try him again.
Look at Cosby. And you tell me how Cosby got out. How did Cosby get out?
He was America's dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go to line 5, talk to Cameron. Hey, Cameron.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing, Cameron?
How y'all doing today?
Good. Right. How you doing?
I'm doing good because I'm sitting in my backyard with my 1,000-year-old dog listening to y'all teach me.
I love it.
You know what my 1,000-year-old dog means, right?
What's that? Yeah, you told us yesterday.
There you go. There you go. I'm a grandpa, so I don't remember what I told you already.
You said what type of dog, though, was it? So we get it right?
He's an Andalusian Shepherd, and his breed is specifically originated in the mountains of Greece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, beautiful animal.
And he even has a breed trait of a very large dew claw on his back legs, which helps him run with stability over the Rocky Mountain surface.
Oh, wow.
He's a beast, but, brother, he's my buddy.
There you go.
So what's on your mind today beyond that?
Well, I've enjoyed the various topics that you guys have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy if you want me to talk about one of those. But what I'd like to talk about is the fact that America is regaining its place in history at the moment.
Okay, keep going with that.
Okay, let's just set the table for a minute. Okay, Russia, millions of dead by Stalin. China, millions of dead by Mao and the Cultural Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, millions of dead when they tried to conquer the world. Japan slaughtered millions in the war with Russia and China.
Mm-hmm.
Our history, since our beginning, has been to throw off the yoke of the world's largest naval empire at the time, just to make it fair for our citizens. That's what our forefathers in this country did. And then we joined in as partners in World War I and World War II and saved history, if you don't mind me talking that way. But we're still young, but we're humble on a good day, but we are great.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I think what's going to happen is you have to regain that footing. And the way is there aren't too many people left. There's still a lot, but not too many left of who have a living memory of the war.
Yeah.
And so as you lose more and more of those folks, and you lose these stories, and just not even the stories, like the actual, I saw it with my own eyes. I remember these moments. People are going to have to maybe relearn some lessons, and history doesn't repeat. It does rhyme, though. Sorry for quoting Karl Marx. And I think you're right. We're at one of these strange pivotal moments where you have this technological revolution that's also driving massive cultural change, and thus it's driving political and institutional change. And in a way, it's exhilarating, and there are a lot of fun things to cover and look at, but otherwise it can be quite harrowing. It's interesting. The new pope named himself Pope Leo the 14th. Pope Leo the 13th is right around the late 1800s. He warns about the Industrial Revolution. But near the end of his life, Pope Leo the 13th has this encounter with the divine. He has this vision that the 20th century would be the century where Satan has his way with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so he created it's a very long prayer to the Archangel Saint Michael to protect us. And it was said at a lot of Catholic masses for a while. And, some pope had a vision. But look back at the 20th century. I mean, is it all that far off, the meat grinder and the horrors that we saw? So I'm hoping that we don't have to revisit the same horrors, that we might have the upheaval and change, but it won't necessarily be quite as bloody. At least that's what we should pray for.
I agree. I believe the Bible has information that can guide humanity forward and would definitely help get America back on track.
Here. Well, I appreciate the call, Cameron.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah. Have you looked up that dog? I think it's Anatolian.
Yeah, those are big old mountain dogs, aren't they?
They're beautiful animals. Beautiful animals. 272-9228. I mean,
wrestle you to the ground.
A little bigger than Roxy, even.
Yeah.
Roxy's a big old girl.
Yeah, she's fat now.
What, 15 pounds old? 15 pounds over?
Yeah, at least, yeah. What do you do?
Well, that's it. It feels good to eat. I get it.
You ever seen a fat dog with a skinny owner? No, usually see a fat owner and a fat dog.
I mean, the struggle's real. I got down to 197, and the last few weeks I've been hovering more around 200, 203.
Ooh.
So it's like I was, 200 all week.
Sticking around for the snack commission, hadn't you?
Yeah. Oh no, it didn't help that you're like, hey, here's some wings, here's some crumble cookie.
Yeah, those. And then on top of that, Craig sent me some cookie places that you have to order online.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna order some. It's like $40, but I'm gonna do it, Joey. He said they're better than anything.
Right.
And Craig's not spendy with the money. So if he says they're good and at $40, we're going to try.
I think I'm going to tighten things up though a little bit for the vacation. Just, as I'm going to see a new city.
I got you. And that's smart of you. But me, I rented a house. So it's just me and everybody that knows I'm fat anyway. So I don't have to worry about the resort this year and looking resort.
And you're going on vacation.
Yeah.
For the
28th of June, I think we're heading out to Jamaica and then we're coming back 5th or 6th.
Okay. So more than a week. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'll be off July 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Okay.
So I'm going up to Nashville. This month, my brother, his lovely wife, Caroline, and little Lucy, they're all moving to Nashville from Greenville, South Carolina to Nashville, Tennessee. So it'll still be a new city for them, but they'll be set up. And I've never been to Nashville.
That's beautiful.
Why not? And I was looking, because my lazy butt, is there a way to fly direct from Montgomery?
Nope.
And yeah, there is, but it's like, here's a layover.
Yeah, thank you. No
in
direct
Atlanta,
flight.
and it's going to be 4.5 hours. And it's like, it's only like 4 hours to drive. So I might as well get up early and drive.
And I hate that. I wanted to fly, if they had a direct flight to Jamaica from Montgomery, I'd take it. But same thing, you go to Atlanta and you got like one of them, you had an 8-hour layover in Cincinnati. I'm trying to go to Jamaica. That's the wrong way.
Right. And then you see things like, did you see the Air India incident? The crash? It's a catastrophe.
There was another one, not a crash, but day before yesterday, I believe, in Phoenix, where a guy had to do the touch and go, where he was putting it down, and that was 200
And this is, by the way, another Boeing plane. It was a Boeing 787.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's on takeoff. So it gets
5 minutes. it
gets a little
600 feet?
Yeah, well, it's not that high up in there, and then it stalled apparently and came down hard
into a neighborhood.
And like you see the explosion, pretty
Full of
quick.
jet fuel. Yeah.
And I think like 1 or 2 people maybe survived this.
I didn't know if anybody
I think
did.
one person. did.
Wow. That's
a lot of people dead. 242 is the number I believe I saw. It might be higher than that.
Mm.
And it's, you know, you see images like that and you're like, you know, I've been on planes several times, and you just sort of go, well, you trust that this works.
I do. And honestly, I'm kind of a weirdo like that, where like if we're getting ready to do somewhere like that for a couple weeks before, I don't watch any plane disasters or anything. Like, I just feel like I could will it upon myself, and I don't want that. So I just hope the guy next to me in the seat also is not trying to will
Have you
it
seen
upon
the
himself.
theory that the Malaysian flight that went missing, nobody could ever find it, that it was actually warped by the U.S. government or something? Somewhere they used some warp dark energy technology, and this would explain why parts showed up near Africa.
I haven't heard that. I've heard a gazillion different theories, and some of them are as outlandish to me as that. But some of them, I hate saying it, but I go, yeah, I see our government doing that. I can see someone doing
And
that.
this is on top of a lot of these, shocker, a lot of these UFO stuff they've been releasing over there is fake.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a fascinating thread. I'll have to pull it up here in a second. Eric Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, this makes me think there's a real program. They're using the fake stuff to real technological program.
Yeah.
They're using the fake stuff to misdirect from. That for every real
No,
program, there is a fake program, and so fake that the people in the programs think they're real.
Yeah, don't know they're in a fake
Right.
program.
And this is to control information and particular forms of knowledge that are too powerful for everybody to have in the public domain. Here's what I mean. There were folks in the U.S. government when AI's first starting saying, well, we could just classify this technology in the same way we classified all of like nuclear physics. You're like, wait, you classified physics? They did.
Yeah.
And so you got to wonder
Yep.
how much is there that they know and have a capability to do, but they have all these other fake things. And so it makes you wonder, this whole like string theory thing, like the latest iteration of it, we're going to figure it out. And it's been like 50, 60 years since they said we're going to figure it out, and it keeps failing.
Right.
Is that a real program or a fake program?
You can't find the answer, can you?
Right. And it's one of these things too, where it's very easy. Again, it could be these physicists are very serious. We get paid. We're deans of colleges. We do research. We're trying to solve the problem.
Are they damned to fail from the get-go?
Right. Are they being directed to go down the wrong road?
It wouldn't surprise me, because every crazy theory I've ever thought, when it came down to the proof, and not all of them were proved right, but the ones that were proved right, I was just scratching the surface on it. You know, it went way deeper.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me.
Well, this is why I don't believe the mainstream, but also like every conspiracy thing that's out there. I'm like, yeah, but I don't buy y'all either. I'm just generally going to be skeptical about all this stuff.
Moon landing?
No, but might be fun to get Lou Elizondo back on here and be like, hey, Lou, were you part of a fake program?
I've loved Lou. I've caught several
I
of
like
his
him a lot,
clips
too.
now. But yeah, what about the moon landing? You still sold on that 100%? And the only
100%?
reason I'm not,
my general sense is yes, we went to the moon. Not we, those
Yeah.
people got to the moon.
my only thing is, honestly, is I don't trust the government enough to, like what you just said earlier. Your theory on the moon landing was so many people would have to cover that lie.
Yes.
That there's no way. What about what you just said? So many people would have to cover that lie. A world of people.
Yeah. I'm just not ready to go there.
It's fun. Come on. Just answer me this question. Who set up the camera to take the picture?
Well, no, and here's the thing. Do you get back? A good way to shut everybody up is just get back to the moon.
Why haven't
there's
we?
obviously going to be people that don't believe that. And they're like, oh, that's...
Why aren't we live streaming the moon right now?
Well, I mean, there's folks every time, the Falcon 9 takes the Dragon capsule up to the space station, people are like, fake. So, I mean, there's always going to be the folks who are like, yeah, that's not real. Fair enough.
Prove me wrong. Why? Okay, we had the portal that time that went from Ireland to New York. Why don't they have a portal on the moon?
A portal?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to travel through it, but you can actually look like a live stream. Why can't I just live stream the moon? Why not?
Live stream the moon?
Why is there not a live stream camera on the moon? And maybe there is. I just don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think they've had Landers and stuff up there.
no, not while they're there. I want one that's at a certain point all the time. And anytime I want to log into it, just like a webcam, I can log in.
You want a camera always fixed on the moon.
Not on the moon. I want it on the moon, not looking at the moon. I want to be
You want
looking
it
at the
on
surface.
the moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be able to go in there and 360 it. And why
Yeah,
not?
but as soon as I pull that up, type in moon live stream, you're
Nah,
gonna
it's
be like,
fake.
yeah, right. That looks like dust in the corner of my bathroom.
Well, there you go. Then make it good enough that, or make it bad enough that I believe it.
So we'll see.
The Antarctica thing. Open your freezer.
No, and part of it's wishful thinking on my part in this sense that I hope somebody has actually advanced physics beyond, say, general relativity in the standard model and has thus figured out capabilities that could really advance a lot of things.
I would think so. Yes. Just look at simple things like the
It's my hope.
microwave and then a jet airplane in general. It shouldn't fly.
Right.
It shouldn't fly.
Anyway, we got to hit another break.
All right.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing, and they're at Cole Plumbing. James and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. It could be you have a clogged drain.
Yes.
It could be you got low water pressure and you need to wash those luxuriant locks, as the
And
president
that
has
low
talked
water
about.
pressure just ain't getting it done.
No, it doesn't get it done. Maybe you flush the toilet and something comes up in the shower drain.
Ooh, that's not good.
Maybe you got something clogged and you need to snake that drain.
Yep.
And you don't know how to do that.
No.
Call
No, call
pros there,
professional.
call plumbing. Yeah, because you might try to do it yourself and you just make a big old extra mess.
Well, not only that, I've seen some videos where people will go to try to snake it themselves and the snake gets stuck. And so not only do you have to call the plumber out to fix your toilet,
That's
but you
just
gotta-
embarrassing because you
Right.
just got a thing sticking out of your toilet.
Right.
Right. What did you try to do here?
Exactly. Why don't you just call the man? Just call him.
And of course, they can also help you with upgrading, say, a tankless water heater system, or maybe you want to put in a new garbage disposal or any new accessories like a nicer toilet or all sorts of things that you might want to install that have to do with your plumbing. And if you have a massive leak, Cole Plumbing understands time is of the essence. They can fix that leak, find that leak, fix it with minimal discomfort to you in your home without tearing out a bunch of drywall or digging up a huge old hole in your yard, making a big old mess. So you'll check out Cole Plumbing today. You can always make an appointment online at coleplumbing.com or just call them direct at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What does it mean for a nation to be successful? I'm Stephanie Bryan, Tribal Chair and CEO of the Porch Creek Indians. We believe a successful nation gives back. As we've built economic opportunity and prosperity, the Porch Creek Indians have been able to give back to our neighbors in Alabama and beyond. More than $37 million since 2021 alone. From education and healthcare to tornado relief, learn more about our charitable giving at porchcreekindians.org.
The Tears family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Hi, I'm Allison Chandley, Account Executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Nearly 90% of people in our area listen to local radio stations more than 14 hours every week. Blue Water is the most listened to group in Central Alabama. Put our stations to work for your business. Contact me, Allison Chandley, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. Man's best friend deserves nothing but the best, and that's what you'll find at MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville. They carry only the highest quality dog food brands for your best friend. MPM in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open 8 to 5:30 on weekdays and Saturdays 8 to 2. Call Clint Smith at 334-361-8818.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in our forecast for today. It's going to be another very warm and humid day with a high in the upper 80s to around 90 with a sun and cloud mix. There'll be a few spotty, random afternoon showers and storms, but most towns will stay dry. Low tonight around 70, but then over the weekend, the rain chances go up quite a bit. Tropical moisture invades the area, numerous showers and storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours, right on through Father's Day weekend for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Be flexible with your plans. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I'm pretty sure the music's still not going to work. I don't know what's going on with our internet today. That's very annoying.
Yes, it is. Have you tried a cappella?
No, I've not tried that.
Put it out there.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Before I move on in this segment, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and their Pest Pro, Ashley and that great team are ready to help you out. Now they can help you with basic pest control needs.
Yep.
And really, they get you on a monthly schedule. It's actually like a monthly subscription is their model now.
Works well for me.
Works really well. And you can add on top of that from basic protection, termite inspection protection, and 'tis the season for mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes and fleas in the yard, Joey.
Fleas as well. Like looking at Roxy here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we get them to do. We get them to treat our yard, because even though Roxy's on a flea medication and all that, if the flea's going to get on her when they come in the house,
they're
just coming off.
You don't want to get a flea on you.
Not at all.
But, and imagine fleas and ticks.
The infestation. I mean, and literally in about 72 hours, you just have infestation in your house.
Yeah, you don't want that. And why not have just Pest Pro come out and do the full package, treat everything. It's going to give you peace of mind, and you're going to have a great space. Where you're not going to be freaked out by those cockroaches or those wasps or
red ants. I had fire ants bite me yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, it's been a while since I've had that happen.
Yeah, man.
Those hurt, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they were in my Crocs, and
Oh man, I got ants in my Crocs.
They were working me, dude. They were working me. Yeah. Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
Hey there, Roxy. So y'all check out Pest Pro today. You can always go to ppsriverregion.com to learn more, or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. Or just call them direct. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Bonus points if you say Roxy the dog sent you. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Daddy-O.
Hey, Daddy-O.
What up, Daddy-O?
How you doing?
I've been listening to y'all, but I ain't been able to call. I ain't got too much going on. Eddie, you can appreciate what I'm about to say. Over here, when my rentals moved out, you got to do all the patching and do what you do.
Yes, sir.
And I told them to cut my electricity off Monday. Guess what?
What's that?
They cut it off this morning when I got over there and had electricity. I'm in here sweating. I'm in here sweating like a preacher in a den of iniquity house.
Yep. You realize the benefits of power when you ain't got it.
Yeah, that's true. But you done got rich. You got people cleaning yours, but I still clean mine.
What do you think I've been last couple of days? In fact, I've got one in Chisholm on Chisholm Street. I got to go clean out this weekend. So you know how fun that's going to be.
You got your AK weed in the truck.
I bring him a dog. Should be all right.
There you go. Hey, one more thing here. You reckon President Trump, he's getting like them Chinese and Russians. I've seen all his videos where they got showing how strong the military is and saluting by the president when they walk by him and all that. You reckon that's going to be the same thing we're about to see?
he seems to want that. That seems to be what he's always wanted, even when he was president last time. He wants that show of strength and, let the world know, I guess, that the military is his to do with what he wants with.
Well, he's the commander in chief.
Yeah, he's the commander in chief. Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, he's just showing conventional warfare. We know that ain't really what it's about no more.
Right. It's a bait and switch. There ain't no doubt.
No, and I think it's a good way to honor the Army. Like everybody else is. People see what they want to see. That's the world we live in.
But I remember in Turkey, they would twice a year they would have the military come out. It was a good celebration of military, and I'm sure it worked well for recruiting and things like that.
Yes, and recruiting numbers are up.
Yeah, I did see that.
And you're seeing a lot of big influencers out there promoting this thing. Like think of like
Is it
Tim
going to
Kennedy.
be all the military? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Is it
done.
going to be all the military or just the Army?
I thought it was going to be all branches of the military, but I know that the Army is the one that's ahead on recruiting like crazy right now. But I thought it was going to be all branches of the military represented.
I guess we'll see. When's that supposed to happen? Next week?
Saturday,
I think. Yeah.
Saturday. Oh, okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna go sweat some more. I'm gonna lose 5 pounds over here in this hot house.
Yes,
over
you
here in
are.
Prattville.
Well, I appreciate it, Daddy.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Yes, we talk to Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You're talking about ants. There is a new ant in Alabama. It's called a needle ant. They're dangerous.
Needle ant?
Yeah, it's some kind of Asian ant. I saw there was a thing on one of my web feeds that's talking about it. They can be deadly.
That I don't like that.
I don't either. And on another subject, on the did you hear about this PSL that is funding the protest? They're linked to the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh yeah, and they're the front group for the Communist Party of USA as well.
Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get rid of all these illegal aliens. I say just build a wall around LA and be done with it, and do it like Escape from LA. If you get convicted, toss their butts in there with the rest of them.
I remember that Escape from LA. That's a great movie.
Man, that's old school right there.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I'm old.
Me too.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, the needle ant. It's native to Japan and Asia. Areas of Japan and Asia. Introduced to the U.S. in the 30s. Considered a possible invasive species. The needle ant and Argentine ant have been battling for territory in the U.S. apparently.
They got gangs too?
Yeah, man. It's kind of inbuilt.
Eesh.
These things are nasty looking too. When you get the up close views of them, man, they're nasty looking creatures.
Ants in general. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, but a fire ant hurts, but like compared to like a bullet
it's the
ant,
2 or 3 that get you. I mean, the one you're like, okay, a pest, but the 2 or 3 at the same time. Yeah. And you remember, I think
and you never can get them all off.
No, that's it. I put my foot back in the shoe only to get bit again.
Yep.
That's right.
You were about to say something.
You remember that show Wild Boys where they went to Africa and they had them, I forget what kind of ants they were, but they let them bite them.
Yeah.
I've just,
No, just look up Coyote Peterson. He let everything with a stinger or a venomous bite him, including bullet ants in the Amazon.
Why does he hate himself so much?
It was just to kind of prove a point. And he did fire ants. He came to the Southeast, and you know what he did? He stuck his hand into a fire ant hill, both hands, for like 30 seconds. And of course, they had medical staff on because he's going to have a
there's going to be a
shock.
reaction.
Like
yeah.
he could easily die from that.
Wow.
His hands swelled up like twice the size, like big mittens, just swollen from all those ants biting them.
Was there a purpose other than saying
Entertainment?
Okay, just making sure that was it.
Informative entertainment. It's like,
Very.
what happens if that?
I would watch it.
Right. Oh, it's fascinating to watch. He had to stop. He said, from all these things that have stung me and bit me, like I have nerve damage.
He ends up being like the world's oldest man. He lives forever now.
Yeah, because he has his blood gives the secret anti-venom. Right.
Well, crazy enough, Lyme disease, big thing that, going around. There's a study about African bees getting stung by African bees that can cure Lyme disease. I read a story today and watched it on Mr. Ballin, where this lady
Mr. Ballin.
Oh, it's a great storyteller. But anyway, this lady had Lyme disease. She finally found out after 15 years of having it. That's what she had. and you think her luck is terrible because it's just things are going bad, bad, bad. Well, then she gets stung by like, I want to say it was 100 or more Africanized bees.
Mm-hmm.
So you assume at this point she's going to die. She literally went to die anyway. They cured her Lyme disease.
Damn.
It cured her. And there was an unofficial study before even her that said, hey, we can't test this because it's so unethical. You'd have to get stung 100 times. But the technology that we see, the parameters that we have, this could cure it. And it worked for her.
Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
This is Neil.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are y'all?
All right. What's on your mind today?
Well, just something I haven't heard talked about. In the presidential election, I was kind of a 3-issue person. The border, of course, was number 1. The drilling for oil was number 2. But not as important as those to me was the Supreme Court. And I'm a little concerned that we're going to fool around and he's not going to be able to get who he wants on the Supreme Court if we wait around much longer. And I'm wondering if he's having any conversations with Powell about maybe stepping down. And so that was a concern I have.
Yeah, it would probably either Thomas or Alito.
Alito would be all right.
So we'll see. I don't know how that goes about, what line can be crossed. I'm sure there's back channeling. That makes a lot of sense.
At this point in politics,
well, and somebody like, for instance, Clarence Thomas doesn't want any legacy he's somewhat built to be unraveled completely.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And you saw what
You're
happened with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she held on and held on and held on. It did not work out well for them.
So embarrassed.
Yeah, if he doesn't do something, I think within the next, 6-9 months or something like that, and we get into the midterm elections, and if heaven forbid we lose the Senate, it could be tough sledding for him to get somebody in there.
Good point.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought
What do you
about
think
the
about that?
Supreme Court in a second. So good point. I like those first two, though. And it looks like, the border's secure. It looks like we're certainly drilling for more oil and just unlocking American energy in general.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Time to solidify that conservative Supreme Court.
Well, and they got to get that wall built too, because all the stuff that they're doing now, and I think that's in the big beautiful bill. But if they can get the wall built, that'll be a permanent solution. If they don't do that, then whoever's elected next, if they're a Democrat, we're right back where we started.
Yep, they can just undo it all. You're right.
Well, I appreciate the call, Neil. I got to run.
All right, take care.
272-9228. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance that current home.
Yep.
And you've worked with them many a time.
I was just bragging on them yesterday, too. I had a first-time home buyer that wanted some information, and I gave him all the information I had, which was about 7 minutes of it. And I said, you know what? Here's who you need to call. And sure enough, within about 45 minutes, I got a call back, and this girl was telling me about loan programs I had no idea about.
Oh, really?
Just after talking to Madeline.
Oh, they do great work there at Alabama
They
Home
do.
Mortgage. Always love seeing Madeline Cannon stop by. It's been a second since
It has
she
been a
stopped by
bit.
this studio. We need to rectify that.
Probably pretty busy, but yes, I'll reach out to her.
I know. It's busy season.
Yep.
This is why you've been missing shows. Like,
Yep.
I get it. Like, it's you got to make hay while the sun shines.
Exactly
And
right.
so, folks, if you're part of this busy market, and it could be you're looking to buy that home, that first home, maybe it's not your first home, maybe that family's growing and you got to have a bigger place. Could be you're looking to refinance it, debt off your back, restructure debt, or possibly you're close to or in retirement already and you want to lower those monthly overhead costs. They can help you with all of that there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Just start the conversation today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump has signed a measure blocking a California ban on new sales of gas cars. The state is expected to challenge. At least 4 people are dead in San Antonio after heavy rains flooded highways and stranded motorists. Fire officials say they're still searching for 2 people who are missing. Crews made dozens of water rescues. That's after heavy rains flooded highways and stranded motorists in the region. Republicans in Congress have questioned several Democratic governors over policies limiting cooperation with federal immigration authorities. The governors of Illinois, Minnesota, and New York testified before the House Oversight Committee, which has been investigating sanctuary jurisdictions. On Wall Street, stocks are higher, the Dow up 54 points, the Nasdaq adding 29. This is SRN News.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in our forecast for today. It's going to be another very warm and humid day with a high in the upper 80s to around 90 with a sun and cloud mix. There'll be a few spotty, random afternoon showers and storms, but most towns will stay dry. Low tonight around 70, but then over the weekend, the rain chances go up quite a bit. Tropical moisture invades the area, numerous showers and storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours, right on through Father's Day weekend for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Be flexible with your plans. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA, NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
ASE, an equal housing lender.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Katie Britt is pushing hard for the Army Corps of Engineers to work smartly and proactively on projects like dredging the Port of Mobile. In a Senate committee hearing held this week, Senator Britt thanked Lieutenant General William Graham Jr. for conducting efficient, environmentally beneficial operations off of Dauphin Island, and she urged the same when it comes to dredging the Port of Mobile.
This is critically important. We can do two things. We can make sure that we have the economic engine that is the Port of Mobile, and we responsibly preserve our natural resources. It is imperative. This dredge material could be used for habitat restoration, for beach nourishment, for wetland creation, and I am not going to move off of that. So we have to make sure that we are good stewards of the natural resources that the good Lord has given us, and we can do both of these things at the same time.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A judge has revoked bond for a former Bayou La Batre police officer. William Squires is facing charges of rape and sexual abuse of a minor. Squires was before a judge most recently for violating the terms of his bond agreement by going to Mississippi to attend a baseball game rather than stay in Alabama. Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood is the one who made the motion to revoke bond for Squires. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
We're going to try music again. I doubt it's going
All
to
right.
work. Yeah, it's just not working for us. That's odd. But welcome into the program.
Yeah, that
Final
is odd.
hour here. I guess there's more to get to because there's some congressional theater that's been going down.
Oh?
Yeah, for some reason they called up a bunch of, as witnesses, governors. So like Tim Walz is there. That's secret fruit.
Yeah.
And Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York.
The one that covered up her face when she realized the cameras were on her. And
No. That's Gretchen Whitmer.
Whitmer.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
all
The chick from Michigan.
all these Democratic broads look alike, right?
Women drivers. Am I right?
But Tim Walz was put right in the crosshairs by, I guess it's the majority whip Republican Tom Emmer.
Yeah.
Absolutely just pounds Walz for about 5 minutes. I don't know if I can take the whole 5 minutes because a lot of this is just like, yeah. What are you actually going to do?
Dead
about
horse deal where you're just
Right.
beating the dead horse.
We can check out a taste of it. This is, again, Tom Emmer taking on Governor Walz.
Going to run through a series of.
Oh, and the other one is the big old fatty who sweats gravy, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
That is a big one.
Before I get to my questions, so let's get started. Governor Walz, you signed the Health and Human Services Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill expanded Minnesota Care to provide free health care to illegal aliens. You signed the Higher Education Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill allows illegals to have their college tuition paid for by the state. You signed the Driver's License for All Act into law in March of 2023, and that bill allows illegals to receive driver's licenses. So, you claim you're not a sanctuary state. You just provide free healthcare, free college, and driver's licenses to illegal aliens. One reason you're here testifying before us today is because you refuse to cooperate with ICE. While states like Florida and Virginia empower their law enforcement to detain and remove criminal illegal aliens, you, sir, have done just the opposite. Your attorney general is directing law enforcement to ignore ICE immigration detainers. Do you agree with the attorney general's guidance?
Well, Congressman, it's good to see you again, and thank you for being here. First, I would say as my job as governor of Minnesota is to make Minnesota the best state in the
Do
nation.
you agree with the attorney general's guidance?
Congressman, what I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law. I
Sir,
would say
it's a very easy question. And
The
again, if you claim you're not a sanctuary state, you just I guess you just claim that you support policies. You're not a sanctuary state, but you support policies that prevent ICE from doing their job.
Congressman,
Isn't that right?
That is incorrect, Congressman. We follow the same laws when
Well,
you were in the Minnesota
sir,
House. The law has not changed,
If
sir.
you'll allow me, I've got limited time. Well, that's what you tweeted, by the way, sir. And on May 23rd, 2018, you tweeted, quote, "I support policies that keep law enforcement from enforcing federal laws," close quote. On May 17th, just this spring at the University of Minnesota Law School's commencement ceremony, you said, quote, "Donald Trump's modern day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets." When you said the words modern day Gestapo, you were referring to ICE agents. Gestapo, by the way, sir, was the official secret police of Hitler's Nazi Germany.
Really?
So you're calling ICE agents modern day Nazis. Given the attacks on ICE agents that took place in Los Angeles over the weekend, don't you regard your dangerous inflammatory rhetoric as a problem?
The questions you want me to answer first.
So, sir, it saddens me that you refuse to express regret from comparing ICE to Nazis. ICE agents are brave Americans who get up every morning, leave their families, and put their lives in harm's way to protect our country, sir. You, at the very least, owe an apology to these dedicated public servants. I will say, sir, inflammatory rhetoric such as yours and the other governors on this panel is responsible for putting a target on the back of every ICE agent who is risking their life to protect our communities. Minnesota is all too familiar, by the way, with the chaos that ensues when you refuse to work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear: free health care, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities. If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful. Governor Walz, your sanctuary state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now. And with that, sir, actually, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record the governor's tweet that I referenced.
Yeah, let's put a tweet in the record. I mean, and there was a pattern to this where it was like Elise Stefanik just ripped into her governor of New York. Stefanik's from New York. Just ripped into Hochul. But then there was a little change of pace where a guy named, we've played him before, Brandon Gill. Because if you watch this like it's kind of entertainment for the folks back home, you can always see these kind of rising stars. Like, who's got the gift of gab? Who knows how to be incredibly vicious and uncharitable to the opposition? Well, this Brandon Gill guy, I believe, is from Texas, but he goes after the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. Let's see what this is all about. See if this guy is, in fact, a rising star in the Republican Party.
Do you think men should be allowed in women's restrooms?
I'm not sure why this has come to this issue.
You tweeted that as a protest against President Trump, everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today. Have you ever used the women's restroom?
Not that I can recall ever.
You wanted everybody else to do it, but you didn't.
Do you sit to pee, sir?
Right, that's what he's getting at.
Well, when it's dark at night, I don't want to get
I want to wake up too much.
I'm not trying to get graffiti all over my bathroom.
Sir, I'm not sure why we're on a topic that has nothing
I'm asking
to do
you.
with
You're
today's
advocating for men to use women's restrooms, but you didn't do it.
I do not advocate that. No.
Well, actually, you did. You said everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today.
I can tell you that you are
regret
politicizing
saying
this in a way that what we ought to be focusing on is
Do you
the
regret
failure of the
encouraging
federal
men to
government
use women's restrooms?
and the Congress to deal with immigration reform.
Do you regret encouraging men to use women's restrooms?
Again, you're taking us on topics that have.
Did you ever
nothing to
consider
do
that
with
women don't
the
want you
subject
in their,
that you
in their
invited us here
bathrooms?
for?
I mean, that was kind of a layup. That wasn't all that
Kind
impressive.
of kept pushing it.
I mean,
it is what it was. But
you ever be like, not paying attention and you accidentally let a towel out on the bathroom floor, and then you go to use the restroom like at 1 a.m. or something, and you miss?
No.
And then you notice the towel's ruined?
No. When you get married, you're taught to sit down.
Oh, really?
That's what my friends tell me. I just pick up my towels. Don't have that problem.
Yeah, I'm still just living by myself, so
Right,
I'm like,
so-
whatever.
Right.
It's kind of a game. It's like I'm half asleep. Can I hit it without looking?
Honestly, I hate it as I get older. It's awful. Got to pee in the middle of the night a couple of times, but I try not to wake myself up too much. I need
Right.
to be able to go right back to sleep. So sitting down.
I'm
is
usually
easier.
I can go a night unless I usually drink a whole freaking bottle of water, and it's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna wake up in the middle of that
Yeah.
at some point because of that. 272-9228.
But is that not because I had a friend of mine insult another friend of mine one time. The biggest insult man to man, you sit down when you pee, don't you?
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't eat a hot pepper. I mean, he just wouldn't eat it. And so the guy just kept giving him so much crap. So he's the kind of guy, the more crap you give him, the less he's going to do it. And he finally said, "You sit down when you pee." And I thought that was the funniest thing. The guy looked up at me. He's like, "Yeah, sometimes I have to."
Yeah, well, sometimes you're it's like a 1.5.
Right. Sometimes, and that's what he did. He looked
You're
up and he
not
goes,
you're not certain.
Sometimes I have to.
Right. By the way, this is what we're going to talk about for the rest of the hour. Bowel movements. 272-9228.
Well, I've got some stories to tell.
I'm joking. I'm joshing you.
Well, let me
or
close
something
that
like
book.
that. Oh God. It's just disgusting. We're disgusting.
For men. Men are
incredibly
incredibly gross.
Hey. Women are gross too.
Yeah, but on a whole different level.
They just know how to hide it better.
No, not really.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I forget that you grew up with sisters.
Mhm.
I forget that.
Men just don't care to
often.
look, which is smart.
Now, this was from yesterday, but I just want to get your reaction to it. This was an interview that steered towards humanizing, getting to know the personal side of Trump.
Yeah.
With the New York Post Miranda Devine. I don't know how I feel about these Brits who come over here and start doing like American media.
Well, they already got a heads up because most people love a British accent.
They really do. I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker for it.
Oh, yeah, we all are. But what about a French accent?
It depends on the French accent.
Me, I'm just the opposite. I love a British accent. I want to smack a French accent.
Really?
Yep.
What about a German accent?
I kind of feel like I need to get in line.
The Germans have such a freaking dark sense of humor. It's a weird thing to put. It's true.
It's true. And they have a very dry sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you kidding? Maybe.
I've met Europeans. I've always gotten along for some reason with the Germans. Spanish too. Always kind of laid back folks that I've met. And I'm sure, I'm stereotyping here.
Are you now?
I've met some French people too.
Have you met any you liked?
Kind of competed with one for some girl's affection and love one summer.
Don't tell me you lost to a Frenchman.
He
Ricky
lived.
Bobby.
Well, he lived there. He lived in Auburn. I lived in Montgomery.
Okay.
He wins for a short time.
Just like the American man you are, you came on back?
I go up to a conference in Birmingham.
Okay.
Had lost and it kind of ended emotionally. Stopped communicating with this young woman. It's a very free spirit. It was a libertarian conference.
Oh, can imagine.
Right. And so she sees me at the conference and like we sneak off because like we've heard all this crap before.
Right.
But she's with this other guy who's like a freshman up there in the same area, in the Birmingham area. I think it's Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to World of Beers and just get a little buzzed.
Yeah.
And show up for the rest of the conference, all this stuff. Then they have another
They
get
got
together
beer.
where it's like beers. I think the Cahaba Brewery or something over there. Beautiful spot with a big garage and stuff.
Yep.
And it turns out that she's like she gives all her love to me. And then she has to call up the Frenchman who's about to hop on a plane from France to come to Birmingham, Alabama. And she's like, don't get on the plane.
You were that guy?
I was that guy.
You did that Frenchman a solid. I'll be honest with you. You did that man a solid.
Yeah,
He might never know
and then
your
she
name.
like broke my heart the next week.
It's okay.
I
though.
think
You
by
did that man
declaring
a
her
solid.
love for me in that moment,
That
she
should've
broke
told you
3 different guys' hearts, and I'm like, do I have VD now? What is going on here?
It should have told you something.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you did that man in France a solid.
Yeah. It was so stereotypical. Louis.
Was his last name Glass? Are you sure this was
I'm
a real
not going to give
person?
his last name. He's like an
Louis-
academic economist.
Louis
He's a
Glass.
good guy, actually, at the end of the day. Like, I think I saw him years later at some event.
Dude, he owes you a beer, at
Yeah,
least.
like whatever. And and I think that girl, God bless her, she is very much free spirit. I think she's been living in Europe.
Look at
Driving along. It's like whatever.
There are. I do know.
The moment it hurts, and
I know a few couple free spirits like that.
well, and this is, by the way, right after my mom dies. So you do the thing where you like throw yourself into life.
Yep.
That was a big mistake. I was an emotional wreck.
If you could
So
have done
this
it
it was
different.
dramatic and fun in the moment, but no, I
I was
wouldn't.
say, if you could have done it different, though, would you?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, really?
And it did not feel good at the end.
Gotcha.
It really hurt. It was like another blind alley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I think that was the last time I was like head over heels, though.
That explains a lot.
Good song from the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Great song. Great band.
Yeah. Anyway,
They were hoes.
this is Trump talking to Miranda Devine yesterday. And I don't know if you caught this clip.
But
Did you ever play an instrument?
Oh yeah. I played like for very short periods of time the flute. Can you believe that?
Did you like it?
I had flute lessons. It's the first person that's ever asked me that crazy question. Yeah, I had flute. Can you believe it? I could have been a flutist.
No, you couldn't have.
It could have been a flutist. Is that the term?
Right.
And so people have taken this, like Gavin Newsom's very serious speech the other day.
Oh, that was awful.
They had Trump doing the recorder version. Remember they were playing the
Yeah,
recorder?
little white thing. Yeah.
Somebody playing Careless Whisper very badly, but superimposed where it looks like Trump's playing it.
That's good stuff.
I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So Trump could have been a flutist.
There's no way. There's just no way.
I even brought that up with the mayor. He thought that was funny.
It's hysterical.
Like, he could have been a flutist. And like, let's be honest here. You might love Trump, you might hate him, but he's freaking hilarious at times.
So what happened? Did he see himself in the mirror with a flute? And he goes,
I think
this
his
is not gonna
dad,
work
the
out."
full interview is like his dad's like, no.
Okay.
Like the mom pushed having the flute lessons. His dad's like, musician is in some orchestra is not going to be my son.
That was my thought. It would be his dad, but for a different reason. Like you can play drums. but
Oh, yeah. No, I think his dad's more like, no, you're going to.
No money in that. Unless you know.
Well, and I have a theory. You know, this Oz or Oz, whatever guy, he was just on Rogan. He's just on Flagrant. Watched that last night. He's a mentalist. And so he guessed Rogan's like ATM PIN number. He's
He
amazing.
wrote it down at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes.
And he was doing it in real time. Watch the Flagrant podcast with these guys. Like he knew he was doing things and explaining, I'm doing a thing. And then like, I'm not going to crack. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to. He was able to read people perfectly. It was incredible. And so he said it's a developed skill. He doesn't try to couch it. It's magic. It's like, no, he's like, these are techniques I've built up over time to where I really can read people so well. I know exactly what you're thinking when I ask you things. And I can sort of force you. I'm using several different techniques at once to force you to essentially give a certain answer. You can essentially short wire the mind. And people don't understand how they're actually thinking. And in fact, most of our thinking is not voluntary.
Right.
And as I'm listening to this guy kind of explain, he doesn't give away the tricks of his trade, but do the tricks, explain that this is just a trick. Like I have developed techniques of reading people. Made me wonder, is Trump a mentalist?
He can read people, there's no doubt.
Right. He doesn't do a mentalist act like he's some performer. But it's been said time and time again, especially even people who don't like it. As soon as a person walks into the room, he knows exactly how to work that person. Whether he's trying to charm them or putting them in a corner, put fear of God in them.
Yep.
He knows exactly what to say. And it's fascinating. It makes me wonder, what sort of skills does this guy have? And maybe it's not a formalized thing where he actually knows these are the tricks I'm doing. But it's just from what he's been doing all these years, he has this uncanny ability to be able to read a person, know what they're thinking, and exploit it. And it might explain some of the success he's had.
Well, honestly, though, and if you can read somebody that well, you can kind of tell them what they want to hear.
Right. Or get them,
Not to be funny, but
or if you want to mess with somebody, like you want to make somebody who's an opponent feel uncomfortable, or get off their messaging, or go do a thing that will embarrass them.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Pocahontas, she's not really Native American.
Oh, that was
and where he said, I'll give to a charity.
yes.
If she takes a DNA test, she does it, and she's what,
She failed.
1,024.
Just call it for what it is.
She's not
failed.
Native American.
Right.
And then some reporter goes, sir, you brought up that you were going to give to it. Oh, did I say that? Next question.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, nerd. I'm not actually. Yeah, I got you to do the thing that embarrassed you.
Congratulations.
Good for you. It's absolutely
but
vicious.
how she got away with that still bothers me to this day. Like everyone knew that she took the test. The test proved what everyone knew, but she's still there. What about all that money she stole from getting illegal scholarships if she was?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
You got to think there are a lot of people like that.
Oh,
though.
yeah. I'm sure there are.
Now, on the crypto Bitcoin front,
yeah,
here is Senator John Thune. He's the majority leader. He's the guy who took Mitch McConnell's spot.
Yeah.
Remember that big fight where it's like, Katie Britt better vote for Rick Scott? And she did. And we
But
still
she was
got
going
John
to
Thune.
anyway, and
Yeah, we still got John Thune.
right.
Anyway, it's funny, the battles people pick.
It's high school.
It is very interesting, the battles people pick. But this is John Thune on the floor. They're advancing this, I think it's called the Genius Bill. And it's, well, the majority leader talking about the cryptocurrency issue.
President, a significant number of Americans are engaging with cryptocurrency. That includes Americans who use stable coins. And then there are the individuals and businesses around the world that access the American dollar through the use of dollar-backed stable coins. Mr. President, stable coins are a relatively recent financial innovation, but they've quickly caught on. They offer easy payments with the speed and security of the blockchain and the stability and usability of the dollar bill. There are roughly $250 billion of them now in circulation. Traditional financial institutions are said to be considering getting into the stablecoin business. And companies like Uber and Airbnb are reportedly exploring integrating them into their businesses. This President, it's clear that cryptocurrency is here to stay. And it's time that we bring it into the mainstream. Passing the Genius Act is a good first step. The Genius Act would provide a clear regulatory framework for stablecoins. It would ensure Americans can trust who they're doing business with when they purchase stablecoins, allowing the American people to exercise financial freedom with confidence. The Genius Act would also protect against threats to our national security and from criminal activity. It would require stablecoin issuers to uphold the same standards as other financial institutions to monitor and report suspicious activity, comply with U.S. sanctions, and block illicit transactions.
So this is how you can essentially bring the dollar into the cryptocurrency world.
All right, let me ask you the stable coin factor. Now, I kind of got Bitcoin for the most part. I feel like I got a good grip on that. Explain to me a stable coin. And I'll try it. If I say that I'm selling 100 of these tennis balls, and they're all going to be at a fixed price, and you decide to buy it, what's the benefit of you trying to buy it? You're thinking that the cost of this it will be an investment, will essentially be worth more once you buy it than.
No, I don't think that's the value proposition of a stable coin.
Tell me then.
I just pulled it up on Grok.
Okay. Is it working?
Somebody drilling something?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, they're drilling. I think fixing the door.
Oh, finally.
Right.
Nice. Anyway, I just asked Grok. He said stable coins are cryptocurrencies designed to maintain a stable value, thus the name, typically pegged to assets like the US dollar, gold, or other currencies. They aim to reduce volatility compared to traditional cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So it provides a reliable medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account in the crypto ecosystem, often used for trading, payments, or decentralized finance applications. So there's the fiat-backed ones that they're mostly talking about, pegged to certain currencies like the US dollar, backed by reserves of cash or equivalent. So the idea is right now when you go to the store and you swipe your credit card,
right?
That's through the traditional banking systems.
Correct.
Like your Visa and MasterCard have to settle, probably weeks in the future.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They, all that's settled over time. What if you could instead do a transaction with essentially a dollar equivalent that's like almost instant and immediately settled? that it moves a lot faster. So here's how I would put it. These new AI agents that are coming online, they want to be able to move money a lot faster at the speed of light, essentially. And the traditional financial system can't handle it. These systems built in the 70s. Like just can't handle. What is it? ACH and
that's
the
a
Swift
good point,
system.
because there's a reason that certain stock exchanges are so close to the New York Stock Exchange.
Right.
The further it goes out, longer times it takes to get there.
Right. So if you can essentially have a dollar equivalent, but it's a digital token that can be backed by blockchain, as you just heard Senator Thune talking about, it can essentially make transactions and moving money much faster.
So would it
digitizes the U.S. dollar without creating a central bank digital currency.
Right. So it'd be safe to say it's a currency on itself, but it's still backed by a U.S. dollar or whatever.
Yeah. So they would hold treasury bonds. They would hold dollar reserves. They would hold gold and Bitcoin and a few other things. A lot of people say this, this is a way to save the dollars. This new digital economy is coming on. Others are saying, well, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is going to be king.
That's kind of where I'm thinking. And all these little offshoots, not to be funny, but seem to be a waste of, why aren't we putting that energy into Bitcoin itself and normalizing it?
Well, and that's the crossover, at least for me, that was fascinating. I won't play, obviously, the whole show. It's about an hour and a half. But Jordan Peterson sat down with Michael Saylor, the guy who's the big Bitcoin evangelist.
Did he cry?
No, he didn't cry. But there was this one moment where everybody who's kind of aware of Bitcoin and what it might do, or go, Jordan's starting to get it. So here, it's a short clip. It's only 20 seconds. Let's listen in. And if you don't understand it, I might be able to explain.
Well, so why won't going everywhere? If it's
Bitcoin
ramping up in terms of its success, and let's say that that's exponential, because perhaps it might be, why won't Bitcoin just suck the investment capital out of everything?
It is, and it will. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so what's the consequences of that?
Yep.
That it'll become essentially the realest money that you can maybe use. But it'll just suck the liquidity. Everybody will start going, well, Bitcoin makes more sense. And
Well, it does, but it makes me nervous with that. At what point does the Bitcoin, if it does all that, then it's going to be everything that happens in the world can affect the value of that. Suddenly we're back like we're with the dollar. Right now, to me, Bitcoin is kind of protected from politics, protected.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reacts, when Trump did the Liberation Day.
Yeah.
Bitcoin reacts the same way as the markets. It's just as volatile, if not more volatile than
what's
most
the benefit?
stocks.
The blockchain?
The long-term scarcity. On top of, it's scarce, it's an incorruptible global ledger backed by the most powerful computer network ever created that nobody individually, no institution, no government controls.
Right.
So essentially, if you tried to think of like the perfect form of money, that's essentially what Bitcoin is.
But at the same time, no government controls it, but you still got human action there, right?
Yes. So it makes, like the analogy Saylor uses in this interview is the British government put on a big contest of who could figure out longitude. To where ships ran at the correct times in relation to what we call it Greenwich Mean Time.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one guy, because clocks expand depending on like metal parts, obviously.
Copper, yep.
So if you're sailing, to the Caribbean all across the Atlantic Ocean, that clock
probably going to be
made in a traditional way, runs faster, runs slower, yada, yada. He figured out, if you take two pieces of metal that actually work against one another as they expand or contract, you can keep it at a consistent basis. And so Bitcoin uses human action, like human incentives, to essentially create a perfect system out of imperfect parts. And so we could go into all the deep dive into Bitcoin. We don't necessarily have to do that here. But it's fascinating to watch because what Michael Saylor did with his company strategy is now being copied by many other companies. And
but that's
the ride is beginning.
Eventually, that won't be able to be done anymore, correct?
Eventually, it won't.
But it's not tomorrow.
The idea is that it'll be, just pick a number. It could be more or less. It'll be 45%, 30, let's say 29% growth. You're going to have 29% growth every year of Bitcoin's value as it's adopted by more and more for the next 20 years.
So what
happens? And then at that point, you'll probably get 10% growth. It'll essentially track with the government's producing money, all these other money being produced, it'll track with the growth of the money supply. And it'll essentially be the base standard, the final settlement. In the same way gold played that role in the 1800s.
I want to go back to my gold necklace. Just if I owe you some money, I break off a piece of my gold.
Well, people wonder how did like the Rothschilds and all these other big bankers, like what did they do? Gold was the trick. But then they very quickly figure out like moving gold's risky, it's costly. Having to melt down gold, check the action. Like you lose gold as you use the gold.
Yes.
And, you know, every year more gold is found by miners and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that is not the case with Bitcoin.
Well, that's what I'm, okay. Not to sound
It doesn't cost hardly anything to send it.
But, right. But what happens, or when does the Bitcoin mine run out of Bitcoin?
Oh, that's
if
the
that
thing.
makes sense. I mean, that, like with the gold, eventually, you know, like you say, we're finding
There are
gold.
two
all the
ways
time.
miners get paid.
Okay.
So they could, essentially, they're all the miners in the world, and they're all over the world, are trying to guess some random number to secure a block that's, you know, it's a blockchain.
Right.
A block is a given amount of transactions in 10 minutes.
Okay.
And the algorithm adjusts to how much hash power, how much computer power is on the network. And it also halves over time the reward for each block. But these miners are trying to guess a random number.
Okay.
In order to secure that block and secure the encryption. Once the person that guesses the right block, and often they pull together, so sometimes they'll split the reward. That's one way you can get Bitcoin. You can mine it. You guess the random number. We just won some Bitcoin, boys. And this is happening every 10 minutes. The other way they get paid is tips. So if you want your transaction that you're sending on the Bitcoin network to be in the next block, and there's only so many transactions that can fit in a block. If you want priority,
I can buy my way in.
You pay them. Because it's just that important. Like I want to settle this very big transaction, yada, yada, yada. And it's not just transactions of the token that's on the network. It's also things like maybe I want to have the most secured last will and testament ever. Or I want to put a certain message out there that will be there forever as long as this protocol is being run by folks. Yeah. I would encourage people, you're asking a lot of good questions. Watch the whole interview between Jordan Peterson and Michael Saylor. You're asking a lot of questions Jordan was asking. And maybe you will or won't be satisfied with Saylor's answers. Because at the end of the day, this comes down to did you study it yourself for 100 hours?
Oh, yeah.
And did you convince yourself of this stuff? But I just find it fascinating that we're in this phase of corporate adoption, institutional government adoption. That's all. I just played the Senate majority leader trying to push this new bill. You've got Besant and Lutnick and so many others around Trump, including Trump's own sons. They just raised $2.5 billion to buy up a bunch of Bitcoin. So you're starting to see this gold rush at the institutional level. And we'll see how it plays out.
Strangely enough, the more popular it gets, the more nervous it makes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why. For whatever reason, I like a niche product kind of thing. And
well, there is a big mystery at the beginning of Bitcoin.
What do you mean? Well, I know
who created it.
Yeah.
The person goes by Satoshi Nakamoto, but that's a pseudonym.
Right.
And it means something like wise, like middle or centralized intelligence.
Is that person still known to be alive, or?
That's the question. No, we don't. One British guy claimed to be Satoshi and then was embarrassed when he had to go to court over it. And it kind of showed he wasn't.
Why would you do that?
I think his name's Hal Finney or something like that. People think that Satoshi is British because when he uses English, he tends to use the British spellings like color.
English, yeah.
Color will have a U in it.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Now, but British English, a lot of other people learn British English that aren't English.
True.
So,
plus, if you want to throw it off.
No, but in a way, it was brilliant. This guy stands this thing up, says, and it like before it's worth anything, he goes, just in case it catches on, you might want to buy some. You might want to buy some up. And there are a few folks who are there at the ground floor, and they're multi-billionaires.
But it was so cheap then, like to buy it was not much of a risk. Yeah.
So, it wasn't. Yeah. No, and there are a lot of people that bought early, played around with it, and got out and whatever. Didn't even think about it. People that lost it, the guy bought pizza with it. But that is fascinating. This thing, Michael Saylor compares it to essentially harnessing electricity. How did that change the world?
Some for the better, but not always. But yeah.
Right. What is money?
See, that's
essentially
what we're getting back to is
yes,
yeah.
that's what this is driving. And that's something I figured out when I first ran across this, thought about for a second, that this will bring back the question, for better or for worse, what is money? But if you think about it with an economy, what is money? Half of everything.
At least half.
So if this thing is going to be essentially touching half of everything, in the same way your music was digitized, remember Napster? Your books are digitized.
I remember all that, but I remember all the crap that we had to get through to get through.
Well, and we've been going through a lot of crap. Bitcoin's 15 years old now.
See, that's another thing. I keep thinking of his last 5 years. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're talking about the digitization of money, it's essentially, what's that worth? Half of everything.
At least. Yeah.
That's something like $450 trillion.
Touches everything.
It's a fascinating, this is what I mean by fascinating time. We got all sorts of upheaval going on. But it seems the political authorities and the institutions are starting to begin the race.
But
this is just the beginning of the race.
That's when I start to feel uncomfortable, because then I feel like the fix is in. You know, they finally found enough thiefdom to say, okay, I'll mess with this. This is a way we can make.
But it might get to the point. I think it's getting to a point. This is why Elizabeth Warren and there are certain other entrenched players that still don't like it. I think and the Chinese in particular don't like it.
They can show the
well, they understand once it reaches a certain point, they ain't going to be able to stop it.
Ah, I got you.
As much as you do your stable coin thing, you do all these other things, you're not going to be able to stop it from being the currency and
if
the
it's
money.
The best thing out there.
Yes.
Then what are people going to do?
Right.
I mean, free market, baby.
And when it was a bunch of weird libertarians and, cryptologists and couple hundred people, just sitting there, being real nerds about this stuff. And I actually watched some of these conferences. I remember nerding out about it. It was very adjacent to the whole libertarian space. It's amazing to see 12 years later, I first see it in 2013, where it's going. It's remarkable to see.
Is this something, this Bitcoin phenomenon, is it something that someone else could start? Not say rival the Bitcoin, well, maybe to say rival.
Possibly.
But I mean, it's not, it's feasible. It's something, it would take a lot or whatever.
It's kind of like saying, could you build something that rivals Facebook?
Right.
And this is a lot more secure.
Why bother?
And actually, that's the wrong analogy, because Facebook's built on top of all these protocols we call the internet. So you're like, can we build something that rivals the internet? Maybe,
yeah.
But
you still got to have it. You still got to have the internet.
Right. So you're talking about something that, maybe you consider it a virus. It's going to upend traditional finance. That's maybe the selling point for some folks. It's why other folks are worried about it. You mentioned John Thune. You heard him mention the know your customer rules with these stable coins. Like, we can still keep financial sanctions. Like, we use the financial system to sanction Russia, to sanction Iran, to sanction drug dealers, to sanction the cartels. We use money as a means of control, political control. And the question with Bitcoin is you can't necessarily control it.
Let's say, I'm Manuel Noriega and I got all these millions of dollars, but it's all in Bitcoin now. And I'm illegally selling drugs throughout the world. Could the U.S. or anybody else take my money at that point?
Well, let's just keep it simple. I want to buy something from you.
Okay.
You like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I got some. You want some? I'll give you a little bit of Bitcoin for that thing. We don't need a bank.
Right.
We don't need anybody.
Well, there's your problem.
All you have is that network.
There's your problem the government's got with it right there.
Yep. And that's the whole reason the libertarians love it.
That's it right there. Hold on, Joe. Did you guys just make a transaction?
No, and again, I saw this in 2013, that this would create new questions in economics. It would create new questions in politics.
Add money.
And it becomes this big battle of ideas. And I tend to think the thing that usually wins these long run, big stakes battles is the thing that people just adopt because it is you don't have to convince them with an argument. You don't have to listen to this show or some podcast with Jordan Peterson or the Bitcoin conference or the Trumps or anything. Eventually you just come around to it and go, well, I'm going to use it because it freaking works.
Email.
It's like, there's not an argument here. Right. It's not intellectual. It's like, no, it's the best thing going. So I'm going to use it. Yeah, it has downsides like everything.
So,
So,
Well, debit cards. You remember how people, when debit cards first came out, I'm not going to let all my information get stolen. Da, 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 da.
anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They can help you fellas out if you're feeling, the symptoms of low testosterone. And also, when they do a testosterone test on you, they'll get you a PSA score, which is a good marker for prostate health. Good to catch issues early there. But say, guys, you're feeling run down and tired all the live long day. In fact, you feel exhausted even when you wake up in the morning.
Oh, that ain't good.
So your sleep schedule's all messed up.
Yep.
You're never in the mood. You're not seeing any gains at the gym. You're gaining weight, and it's not like you're eating that awfully. So why not get by Montgomery Men's Health if these are your issues and have the providers there conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation, only for $99. And they have low T treatments there if that is indeed your issue that can truly change men's lives. Men after treatment can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
Nothing wrong with that.
You can actually book the same day that you call that number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663, or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Still some spotty showers and storms roaming around through the evening hours until they fade out later tonight. Low temperature down to about 70. But then tropical moisture invades the area, and the forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday includes pretty high probabilities for showers and thunderstorms each day. They'll still be random, but there will be some locally heavy downpours, so be flexible with your Father's Day weekend plans. Highs mostly in the upper 80s to around 90. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Jody Pangle with Peaches and Clean. Have you gone with luxury vinyl tile and luxury vinyl planking in your home? Peaches and Clean cleans luxury vinyl tile and planking. Give us a call. We'd love to come look at it and get you an estimate or quote for your cleaning. Check us out at peachesandclean.com.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back to the program. And you think, are they actually adopting this? Is there institutional adoption? Is it real? All this Bitcoin talk, cryptocurrency talk? Well, here's President Trump addressing the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit. This just came out today.
All right.
At the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit, I'm delighted to speak to some of the greatest visionaries and pioneers in the fields of tech and finance who are working to build a future powered by crypto. Many have called me the first crypto president. That's an honor. I really do consider that a very big honor, actually. And starting on day one, we ended the Biden administration's war on crypto. It was an absolute war and very unfair. And we unleashed American innovators to do what you do best, lead the world into new frontiers.
So, you've got Trump doubling it down as well as everybody around him, including his very own sons. We'll see how this race for real money and what is money continues in the future. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. So we mentioned earlier, in celebration of Leslie's upcoming 50th birthday, they're doing 50% off on half the store, including top-of-the-line items. They're showcasing on Instagram a diamond and sapphire ring. Usually you could get for about $3,000, now worth, well, at least for you, until June the 28th, you can get a discount for $1,500. Pretty incredible. But of course, they're at Dillon Rings. Not only do that great inventory, half of it, half off right now for Leslie's birthday. They can do custom design work made by Josh Ryder himself. They can also do repairs. Yeah. They can do spa treatments.
Battery replacement for your watches.
Yeah, and repairs for those watches.
Mm-hmm.
They can do appraisals. They'll buy old jewelry you don't ever think of. You just got sitting in a drawer.
That's a great idea.
Gold, platinum, silver.
What's it doing but taking up space? Get some money out of that.
So the point is, if you have a jewelry need, Dillon Rings is ready to help you out. Check them out today. Just stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell them that Joey Nettie, those fellows on the radio, sent you. Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
What up, Ray?
I'm good. How y'all doing? This is
Hi.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody wants to draw 55 on 85. It don't make good sense, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
I
back
know.
friendly.
Very frustrating.
So I was just asking him, can you buy carpet with Bitcoin? You y'all set me up?
At this point, it's on the consumer. So, yeah, I would say, yeah. And I would also say get ahead of it because that puts you ahead of your competition.
There's a payment processor called Square, and obviously you've heard of PayPal. They're now like Steak and Shake that used to be around here. They're now accepting Bitcoin for payment.
No,
for
I
their
bought a
burgers.
couple things just because I wanted to see how it worked. And,
Yeah, I would suggest just set it up for your business, and in case somebody wants to pay that way, be ready
You're
to
ready,
accept
and
it.
you're ahead of the game, man.
I'm ahead of the game. Yeah, I might be old, but I'm not that old, right?
That's right.
But now, as a conspiracy nut that I am, and I like my little conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And as a Christian, if you believe in the end times and the rapture and all, you got to know they got to have Bitcoin or some kind of digital currency if they're going to make it where you can't buy and sell unless you have the mark.
Oh, the mark of the beast.
It fits right in.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, you don't have cash. How are you going to send it through your phone?
If I don't have cash, then I'm going to use my lead.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought the vaccine was the mark of the beast.
I know. Tell me about it. Well, if it is, I'm good to go. You're not sticking me with that. There again, I'm a bit of a conspiracy nut. I don't even take a flu shot. I'm like, heck no. Anytime everybody takes a flu shot, gets the flu. Why do you want that?
Right. I'll just take my chances with the flu.
Yeah, I will take my chances all day long. But I tell you what, you won't be taking chances with is on your flooring needs. Call us 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that brand new floor at a very reasonable cost. Next thing you know, like I say, you come home and you got a floor down. It's just that simple. Guys.
Really is that
So
simple,
call us
folks.
today.
285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
If you want to pay with Bitcoin, I'd love to be. Let's do it because you can be my guinea pig.
All right. Seriously, Bitcoin folks out there, go get a new floor from Prattville Carpet. Pay them with real money. I appreciate it, Ray.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
And, earlier today we were wondering, is, say, war with Iran the way that triggers World War III? Trump at this press conference this morning saying, no, we're close to a deal. And
I keep getting the mixed messages.
Yeah. So there's supposed to be talks over the weekend. And the reports were the Israelis were going to do something. So we'll see.
We'll see. But
with U.S. personnel evacuating the region.
Don't forget that he does strange negotiations.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to Crawdad. Hey, Crawdad.
What up, Crawdad?
Good afternoon. Joey Clark, when you first started looking at the Bitcoin, what was your initial and how much were you spending then?
First Bitcoin I bought was like 90 something bucks.
There you go.
Okay, but
Now,
at that time, $90 was a lot of money to you.
Yes.
I have in my hand almost a 25% of a kilogram of frankincense and myrrh.
Mm-hmm.
I have gold in the other room, but we won't talk about that. At one time, the frankincense and the myrrh was a valuable commodity because of its medicinal and many other applications. Bitcoin, you see, what is something worth? It's only worth what somebody wants to trade. And the commodities, that's what spooks me because Walt Whitman said, Chinese know this. Walt Whitman said, buy land. They ain't making no more of it. And they're buying land all over the place.
Yep.
For the United States. When you go to get your hog meat at the store, remember, some of those places, they're buying up land where the hogs are feeding. And anyway, just thank you for telling people got to learn things.
Well, and to your point, the guy I played talking to Jordan Peterson, Michael Saylor, he has likened Bitcoin to like it's digital Manhattan. It's digital Manhattan in the 1600s. Buy a piece of it.
Would you like me to trade you a nice blankie and a piece of skillet and that knife, and I will give you this land? Well, I can't give you the land because I don't own the land. Native Americans, like Walt Whitman, for instance, you can't own land, but I can trade something to you for the use of it.
There you go.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it,
See you, Crawdaddy.
Yeah, and people are like, well, if you never spend it, how do you do it? You finance off of it.
What?
You take out a loan, you take out credit on that land you hold, or in
Mhm.
this case, Bitcoin, the land in digital space, and you build things on top of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I didn't expect to chew up the whole last hour with that.
Yeah, it's
but
good, though. It's good.
What's certainly on my mind.
I think it's on a lot of people's mind, to be honest.
Yeah, just keep watching it.
Yep.
And I certainly am. And we'll keep on top of it. Hey, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is promising to move forward with the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in Los Angeles. That's despite waves of unrest. She says that agents have thousands of targets. On the international front, Iran says it has built and it will activate a third nuclear enrichment facility, ratcheting up tensions with the UN immediately after its atomic watchdog agency censured Iran for failing to comply with non-proliferation obligations meant to prevent it from developing a nuclear weapon. The UN nuclear watchdog censure, its first in 20 years over Iranian non-compliance, could set in motion an effort to restore sanctions on Iran later this year. On Wall Street, the Dow up 77 points, the Nasdaq adding 44. This is SRN News.